Get my angle together.
Welcome to Talk to Keki, Matt and Iran.
Oh, it feels so good to push that button again. Welcome everybody to a special edition of Keki Shop. Thank you for the sound effects, Starman. Appreciate that. Guys, it is me, Ethan, back after a few week hiatus, temporarily back. I'll get into that momentarily. This week is a special Keki Shop. We are going to go over the Attack on Titan finale. You'll notice if you're watching on video, there is no Matt. Matt is a lame. He doesn't watch Attack on Titan. So I'm going to be joined today by our resident fill-in, Starman. Starman, what's up?
What up?
And I'm joined by a special guest. You may know him as the progenitor of Eat the Cake anime. You may know him as our great hater in the Pro Wrestling Hub group that we have. You may know him as a really sad New York sports fan like I am myself. A little bit more so for him. He's more passionate than I am as he reps his Brooklyn Nets jersey. I see you. He is also a co-owner of Baracho Pro Wrestling out in San Antonio, Texas. He is also, I can go on and on and on.
Yeah,
Without no further ado, Angel, welcome to your first Keki Shop with us.
I know, man. Appreciate y'all. Thank you for having me. Long time coming, so appreciate it. It's just man, I don't consume as much anime as y'all, but for Attack on Titan, man, I felt I had to come on. This one was special for me.
So I had you on. Like I said, for those who don't know, as I repeat myself, Angel is the creator of Eat the Cake Anime. We plug it fairly often here on the show. It's a show that Starman, myself, Matt, we are all admins of. He is the creator of the group. He is the reason why there's 600 plus members in the group. So shout out to you for creating that environment for us and giving us a backdrop to what this podcast originally started as. So much shout out to you. But I also brought Angel on because of the fact that Angel is one of the reasons, not the full reason, but one of the reasons why I picked up AOT again after dropping it. And we'll get into that piece a little bit later on as we go along today's show. So today's show, guys, just a quick breakdown. Like I said, we're going to go over the finale, quick highlights of the finale, maybe some lowlights, and then we're going to go over, each of us is going to go over their opinion of the series as a whole, give our highlights and lowlights from the opinion, and then we'll give a final grade for both the finale as well. Well, no, we'll give the finale grade first, and then as we move on to our overall ideas, we can move on to giving a final grade for the series and where it ranks amongst all the anime that we've all consumed. Angel and Starman both have consumed more anime than I have, though Angel doesn't consume as much lately due to his busy life. As I segue into my busy life, the reason why I just wanted to break this down, guys, you haven't heard me on the podcast fairly recently, been filled in by Starman, thank you again, as well as Chris Zephyr, one of Matt's friends and a good fill-in host as well. Just one of the reasons why I haven't been on the show, guys, is I've been busy as fuck. I have been super busy. I have been slacking in my anime viewing because of said busyness. It is also football season, and I prioritize football over most things on Sundays instead of anime the way I used to during the off season. And finally, I just, it's not a burnout, but I feel not as motivated lately to watch anime. And I can't, it could be partial because of the fact that out of like the 15 anime plus that we watch a season, when you go down the list, you get 5 or 6 if you're lucky that are like above mid. The other ones are like kind of mid. They're all right, like nothing to hate on, but as Angel likes to quote, very forgettable, something you're not going to suggest to people. So I've been feeling that a little bit more lately, and it's a shame because there are a lot of good shows this season. I'm caught up what, out of 18 shows, I'm only caught up on like 4 or 5 shows. So that tells you how far back I am. I still plan to try and catch up at some point. I will find time. I will be on before the season finale of the podcast, and I will most certainly be on for our year-end finale with Starman and Chris at the end of the year. So just a quick brief update in terms of why I haven't been on the show. For those who haven't heard my voice, if any of the 1, 2, or 3 people missed my voice, thank you so much. This is why you haven't heard my voice. And so we'll start off with a general question, guys. How did you consume your finale this weekend? Because I got a story for that one that Sean wanted to hear. So I'll bless him with my story after I ask that question.
I was out of town for a football game, and I honestly got back in town like reasonably with like an hour and a half there.
Mm-hmm.
Man, got me something to eat, and I just sat there and I remember how like Crunchyroll kept crashing, and
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I thought about when One Piece dropped the episode when Luffy had Gear 5, and I was just like, yeah, man,
Mm-hmm.
Crunchyroll were for damn, but
Mm-hmm.
Funimation. I still pay for both, so you know what?
Mm-hmm.
Let me
Mm-hmm.
Funimation. It actually hit Funimation like 15 minutes before it even hit Crunchyroll or Hulu. Y'all was still in the group chat like, "Yo, where that?" And me and Luke like, "I'm on Funimation watching this shit. I'm good." So I watched it through the Funimation app. It probably buffered maybe 3 or 4 times, so I kind of like paused it, gave it some time because I got 100 meg a second like internet. My internet's pretty fucking fast, but I can imagine there were millions of people trying to lock the servers down. So after I got it rolling, everything was smooth.
Angel, I know you waited the day after everything was all said and done.
Yes.
Did you manage to avoid spoilers?
Oh yeah, I'll avoid spoilers. One, I've muted the chat because we tend to get a little overzealous with some of the admins that like to just overly talk about and want to try to spoil stuff. And also I try to stay off Facebook, honestly, because it was busy days. Like you said, come Saturday, we went out with my girl, went dancing, eating. The next day, exercise, went shopping. So so the way I consumed it, it was terribly actually. So first, I watched 30 minutes of it. Then she wanted to go shopping, so we went shopping. We come back. I watch another 30 minutes of it. Then she wants to watch a movie. Because she's not into anime at all. She's like the antithesis of an anime fan, unfortunately. And then the last 30 minutes, I consumed it on a morning drive because there was full traffic, so I finished it. So it was really bad. So then when I came home today after the gym, then I sat down and actually consumed it and watched it. Was able to really appreciate it on my big screen. And oh man, it's night and day compared to the action scenes and stuff like that. And actually was able to pay more attention to a lot of details that Attack on Titan is really known for. Is really the details and the being able to rewatch a lot of stuff because you get more things as you rewatch it. So definitely got a lot more out of it the second time around. But yeah, my viewing was nowhere near as bad as yours. So why don't you go ahead and tell us that story?
Oh man, so I can't say it was all that bad, but it was annoying more than anything. So first off, to Starman's point, for sure, it took us 50 minutes to load the episode, and we finally loaded it up on Funimation. Funimation for the win there. My boy signed up for a free trial. We got it up on there after 50 minutes of struggling. However, I decided I'm hungry, and I was gonna cook. I was gonna cook wings, and I was like, I'm hungry, so we decided to cook wings. My friends went and rolled the blunt. They went outside, and all this happened with my cousin and his ex-girlfriend who's staying with us. And that was a whole shit show for a variety of reasons that I won't get into in public here. But that was a whole shit show. And it was a back and forth with me and my cousin. We cleared the air, so we're good there. But there was that. We were being rushed. I had to lower the volume because at first I have my LG 5.1 surround sound. I had that bitch at 27 out of 40. I was blasting that shit. And then it was like, it's too loud. All right. So I lowered it down to 20. It's too loud. By the time it was all said and done, I had it on 15. And it was a little bit sad. I was like, I had this whole get together. I was going to, just blast the shit through the roof. Didn't end up working out that way. And then, what's it called? We had to pause it. We paused it with 30 minutes to go. We paused it right at, I believe Levi was going through, as we'll get to the thing, but he was going through for the final burst to try and get Aaron, and had to pause it because my friend, like she normally does, brought her son, 4-year-old son, cool kid, hyperactive, but cool kid. And she ended up falling asleep. And I was waiting for 25 minutes. We're like, yo, is she good? Da 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 da. Like, nope, she just knocked the fuck out in the room. And I was like, all right, well, I just wasted 25 minutes of my time, thanks, which annoyed my cousin even more. And it was just this whole back and forth drama. And then we finally finished it. and then I had my big back and forth with my cousin, and then some more shit happened with my friends, and it was just I couldn't even like sit there and really like appreciate everything that like went down. But before all that went down, I thoroughly enjoyed it, and so I went back when it was all said and done today. I watched the last 30 minutes so I can get a grasp of what happened, because that's where I got lost and was like, what the fuck? So with that said, not as interesting a story as you would have thought, because I'm trying to be respectful of all the parties involved. Starman, like a good, like person in the middle, like supposed to, fence rider. But let's go ahead and get into the finale. The finale basically picks up exactly where the part one of the finale ends, which is basically with what's it called? The gang all riding Aaron's back, trying to do what they can to try and stop him. And we have the Beast Titan coming up. And yeah, that first segment alone was like just an awesome fucking scene. Just seeing them like all fighting for their lives, and they're all trying their best, and they can't do shit. They can't do a fucking thing. And that was pretty dope from that perspective. As we continue on to try and come up with new solutions, and as they come up with new solutions, we see that another power of the Founder Titan is that what's it called? He can summon all of the fucking what's it called? All of the past generations of Titans. And so they got to fight all those motherfuckers too. Which was pretty good from that perspective. Really good fight, really good, more peril for the gang. So I'll stop there. Initial thoughts at this stage, guys.
No, man, keep going.
Yeah,
keep going. All right,
keep going. Yeah, we'll break it down a little.
All right. As I keep on going, basically they get through that battle, and finally, I believe it was John, right? John basically went and strapped a whole, I believe those are the same dynamite twigs that are sticks that they used to try and blow up the plane initially, right?
I think so.
I believe that was the same one. So you basically, I don't know how he managed to do it, because that's anime magic where you can wrap a whole like thing of dynamite all around Aaron's neck, and they managed to blow up the neck. And there is stuff in between that I'm skipping, but I'm just going through like, again, just the initial like bang 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 action scenes. So the action scenes, he blows up the neck, and Aaron's supposedly dying. And so with one final blast, we get Armin, who had to be rescued because he got kidnapped by, was that a previous iteration of the Jaw Titan, or was that, I believe, or the Cart Titan? Which one? They don't say.
So they were even confused on themselves, because when they're trying to describe it, like, and one of the characters like, "What the fuck are you talking about? Just tell. What do you like? It's a fucking cow thing. Whatever. Just go get him."
Like a bull of some description. I think it was a previous generation of the Cart Titan. Looked kind of Cart Titan-y to me. Had Cart Titan moves. So we'll say it was a pretty previous iteration of the Cart Titan. So Armin had to be saved. While he's being saved, though, he finally talks to Zeke, and Zeke and him have a good discussion, and they have like this good like parallel interaction where you see Armin has a leaf from the tree, but Zeke sees the baseball, and that's where they meet the I guess the souls of the previous generations, including all of their friends, including Bertholdt, including the doctor that Zeke was really close with, including Aaron's dad, and a few others as well from that piece. And they managed to convince them with their talk no jitsu to help us out. And so they turn against Aaron because they still have, I guess, functionality of their Titans, and they manage to help everybody out to get to the point where they blow up Aaron's neck. And as they blow up Aaron's neck, the final piece, now that they've saved Armin, is to basically have Armin activate the Colossal Titan, and huge, humongous nuclear explosion, and he's dead. Yay! He's not dead. He's never dead. So, as we keep on going, what would you describe that? A worm of some description?
Yeah, so it's an actual old like it's an actual animal from back in like even before the dinosaur period, where it's like it grew in the water. It's like a really long worm, but it's an actual animal. It's pretty cool.
It looked like some sort of prehistoric parasite. That was what I gauged from it. And so this prehistoric parasite comes in and is just squirming all over the place. And keep in mind, Reiner, who was a big part of this, is all fucked up. And he got buried in the explosion, but he's alive. He looks all fucked up. His face is all shattered, but he's alive. And by the way, something that irked me from the production side is why is it that when the big explosion happened, he got buried, he got like sent all across the floor? Why is it he still had arrows stuck to him?
Because it is super magic arrows that just cannot go away.
So that annoyed me very, very, very slightly. But in any case, we see all of the remaining members who earlier in the battle basically got into a tussle, and you think, man, the Eldians and the Marlians are still fighting, but no, they managed to put aside their differences for the greater sake of the universe. And so what's it called? They basically are all happy, you know, Aaron's dead, yay. And then there's another giant explosion, and Aaron's not dead. Of course, he now is a colossal titan. So, by the way, how did he become a colossal titan if he didn't eat Armin?
Who? Aaron?
Yeah.
I mean, he had control. Ymir. That was Ymir. Ymir had pretty much every incarnation of every titan. She had control and power to like just create it and just right then and there. So that was more of her doing.
Exactly.
Than necessarily Aaron's. Aaron was just like more or less. He was putting his order in at the drive-through, and she was just, all right, that's what you want. Cool, I'll go get it. I'm gonna make it happen.
Yep, that's what Ymir has always done.
Yeah, because that was Bertolds. That was his Titan that got caught.
Yeah.
You know, they just called his up like, yeah, come on, like, you know.
So then to counteract that point, why is it that he didn't like when he was getting fucked up by Armin, as we get to later on, he didn't like change to like a Beast Titan? Why didn't he change to like a Jaw Titan? Why didn't he talk to the
because when that happened, he was no longer in contact with Zeke. Once you got to be in contact with the member of the royal family to even access that one particular power. She only wanted that power for King Flick. So Ymir would not just let any Eldian have that. You have to have royal blood. Remember, Zeke was supposed to be the one who was going to inherit everything because he actually has royal blood. His mom is the descendant of royalty. Whereas Aaron isn't. That's why Zeke was chained up. As soon as Zeke got killed by like
Levi. And that was I did skip that part. Basically, after it was all said and done, Levi saw Zeke. Zeke's like, hey, didn't want to see your ass, but I'm here. Hi.
Like, you know, I'm done. Like he just accepted it. Like, come on, come do it. Come do it.
Yeah. Well, see,
like because the rumbling stopped because he no longer had the connection to the royal line. And without that,
and a big thing about that is like if you hear like if really a lot of the themes of the show overall, but even just this particular episode is about just accepting humanity. And with Zeke, he always just saw he had his one mission, one track mind, and the baseball really reminded him how it was to be human. And then talking to his dad and all that, and talking to Armin helped him. Like, you know what? Like I don't want to kill all humanity because. And we'll talk about later on about if Aaron's good or bad, or, or is, neutral or whatever. But it was to kill everyone. It was to destroy the whole world. And Zeke was like, no, let's not, like that is not a great plan.
That is
perfectly honest. Exactly. Which is why he revealed himself to go ahead and get chopped off, because then he knew that would stop the rumbling.
Because he realized in that moment with the baseball, he was just like, bro, I could have threw that ball with my dad for forever.
Yep.
I sold my parents out to the government.
They
put all that pressure on him to like, yeah, man, what we need you to do is we need you to join the army, join the military so they trust you, and then we need you to double cross them and really not go in all in. But Zeke was like, you know what? No, it was self-hatred. He was like, no, man, we really need to die off for the betterment of the world. Like, we need to give ourselves up. His parents were like, no, that is not what we sent you in there for. And he just said, fuck it. Because if it wasn't for that guard that was the attack titan that was like, bruh, I'm going to die in a couple months, nigga. Take my spinal fluid. You become the attack titan and you do something with it. Like, he saved him before Krishna was supposed to get pushed over the wall. He saved him because Zeke set him up. Zeke literally set his parents up to become titans. And I feel like once you do that, you got to like, you don't have remorse, because he was like, damn, bro, I was kind of like, how can I get jealous of Aaron being the favorite child in some type of way when I sold out my parents? I literally, he felt some type of way. His dad started a new family. Like, wait a minute, you started another family, you gave Titan, Dad, you still doing this shit? Like, like our dad was a liar. He did this, he did that, he did that. You know.
Yeah.
And then that's one thing I really liked about this episode, because I don't remember if the previous episodes you really saw like the parents, or you saw a lot of the parents, but in this one you see
toward the
all
end
the
you
parents.
saw them a lot. Toward the end,
Yeah. And that's key, because if you know like how the candidates are chosen, really it's the poor. They're like, they don't really have much going on for themselves. And hey, if you provide if your kid gets chosen to be one of the Titans, you're set. Like, you're moved out. Like,
you're an honorary Marleyan. You get like the privileges of that.
Exactly, right?
Yeah,
but
a little bit less racism, still a little racism, but not as much racism.
Yeah, but the thing is, and that it's like it's accepting the fact, like, you're sacrificing your child, whether you believe the cause or not, but just for a better living. So at the end, when you start seeing the parents, and they're like they're reacting like, oh, where's my child? Where's this? Where's that? It's like it's like they realize, like, was this all really worth it? Like, I sacrificed my child, and then they're gonna die, and now they're in this battle trying to save us, and all I really want to do is just hug them. That's why that was really beautiful during the end, when you start seeing the connection and seeing them together.
Yeah. So as we continue on with the rest of the series, basically I did skip over the fact that Levi had one of the most fucking cold-blooded kills of the episode, where he just fucking without hesitation just sliced Zeke off, that triggered all this whole thing that Angel and Starman just mentioned from that piece. As we continue on, basically there's a big old like, all right, now what are we gonna do? We got to kill Eren. And as this is happening, Mikasa starts getting headaches. And this is where shit becomes topsy-turvy. So Mikasa starts getting headaches, and at the same time, this like parasite worm thing starts releasing gas. And it's Connie that quickly realizes, oh shit, this is the same gas that they used on Ragako Village. And so he's like, well, fuck. Levi, being smart, he's like, hey, Ackermans and Titans, we're good. This doesn't affect us, but everybody else is fucked. Let's go finish Eren, before it's too late. And you see Peak, and you see Reiner, you see Falco, they're all like, fuck. And we see Gabby turn into a Titan. We see all the parents, we see all who's left except for the Marleyans turn to Titans. And so you see the Marleyans are freaking out. They're like, fuck, we're gonna die to Titans after all this shit. But specifically, it was Annie's father that looked at the Marleyan secretary and was like, nah, bro. And they just ran toward fucking Reiner to try and let him get, because at this point Reiner and Peak and Annie have the worm, basically preventing the worm from getting to Eren, so Eren can revive as the founder. So
trying to stop the hallucinogenia, like trying to get back to Eren, was like that was just as important as a fight as anything else going on, because if it gets Eren, like, this thing
over
doesn't end.
Yeah.
It doesn't stop. And I guess like that's one of the most compelling things about it is like they split the action. I like how they put this in 3 parts: part 1, part 2, part 3.
Yeah.
So you got Act 1, Act 2, Act 3. Act 3 was the epilogue where you get the closure, and they kill everything off by the end of Act 2.
Yeah.
1 was despair. Act 2 was redemption. Like, Act 1 was just despair. Like, bro, we gonna lose. I saw the preview and I'm like, yo, how does Mikasa get these fucking wings? And it wasn't no fucking wings. It was fucking Falco.
Falco.
I lost my shit. I was like, when she got wings, I was like, yo.
Oh, and the thing that makes that even more dope is his beat. That's his jaw titan. His jaw titan can fucking fly. And his jaw, like, you forget that it's the jaw titan. You want to call that shit like the wing titan or some shit.
It is. I forgot that actually.
It was the jaw titan. But you're like, how the fuck? And they mentioned, they're like, well, no one anticipated it. And then with each iteration, you get different like pieces of your powers, I guess.
Well,
so
it's like, no, it's whatever you want that power to be. However you want that power to manifest, that's how I understood it. However you want that power to manifest, that's how it comes. Like, your version of what that power is supposed to look like, that's how it comes. So Falco, I think it's a play on words with his name, obviously, but they really, if he can't fly, you need plot armor. You need the plot armor of him turning.
Because then Annie had one part of the episode saves the day, so that's how she saves the day, is because Falco.
Also, birds represent freedom, so it's this whole underlining thing about the bird and being able to fly and like win.
It's always been a metaphor throughout the whole series. Every time there's birds always show up as they're talking about freedom, either whether it's
scout
trying
wings,
to escape.
the logo, the scout wings. Yeah,
it was poetic. It was something
Yeah.
poetic in that
it was
moment.
good, great tie-in. I agree. And so as we continue, basically, they set off. All the remaining Eldians turn into Titans. They go to try and stop Annie and Peak and Reiner, and everyone's in despair. However, Mikasa, as she's having these searing headaches, I guess by the grace of God, because of Ymir, as when you guys broke it down, but by the grace of God, she realizes Aaron's in the mouth of the colossal titan. Get me to it. And so we get one final amazing scene from Levi as he's basically like he's dodging, like it looks like fucking meteors. They're just rocks, but he's dodging looks like meteors. He manages to shoot a rocket into Aaron's mouth, blows up his teeth. Mikasa manages to repel into the mouth, sees Aaron, basically one touch, foot down, goes after Aaron. Aaron's got his eyes closed this entire time. He looks up, he sees it's Mikasa that's going to do the deed, and he closes his eyes in peace as Mikasa beheads him. And this is where the episode gets really fucking trippy, because we basically get a, yep, you want to say something?
Oh no, I would say so. I think a big part, and it's so this is more of the manga thing because there's, I'll say overall with the episode we talk about, like my thoughts on that episode. A lot, I feel like some parts you have to have manga knowledge of some stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in the manga, you definitely see more of the connection of why Ymir is really feeling Mikasa, because if you think about it, the whole thing with Ymir was she fell in love with King Ritz, and everything that she's done has been because of King Ritz. That's caused this whole path is because of her unrelenting love for him. If you realize with Mikasa, she has this unrelenting love for Aaron, and that's what always drives her. So it's almost like it's almost very parallel to each other, and unlike Ymir, who didn't have the power or have the willpower to go against King, the king, right? Mikasa, on the other end, does
she found the resolve as she tied her scarf.
Yep. She had to. I think that's the source of the headaches is her going against her nature. Like her whole nature to protect him.
Well, yeah. So it seems like with the headaches was really a lot was Ymir's
influence over the
influence of Mikasa and stuff like that. And I think at the same time, it kind of speaks to also Eren as well as the kind of character that Eren was, where he could have gone down the path of the king, just be unrelenting, which in the end he basically did. But if you realize the small little things that he would do with Mikasa, like tearing her down and all that, was to simply try to break that connection. Because if you know anything about Eren, and we'll talk about how when he's having a conversation and he's saying that I can't control it. It's crazy. He went insane because in his mind there is no past, present, future. It is happening all at the same time. So she knows. So he knows that he has to find a way to essentially break Mikasa of this whole overwhelming love for him.
So as we go backwards, basically the end of part 2. I'll go back to something that happened in part 2, but the end of part 2 is after she slices her head. You see the shadow of Ymir behind Mikasa as Mikasa picks up the severed head and kisses it on the lips as a final "I'm sorry, I love you, goodbye" type of Shawn Michaels Ric Flair moment.
Yeah. And the cool part,
because Ymir could have killed the King Fitz. Had she kills King Fitz, none of this happens.
None of it.
Never. That cycle's broken. So it's like, of course, like you said, like their two lives more or less parallel. Mikasa was just always just stronger. She's strong physically, but like mentally, it's just like, Aaron was like, I had to kind of like, of course I had to push you away. Like I had to push you away because like Mikasa could have, I promise you, if he would have gotten her head and said, "Help me," she would have slaughtered everybody fucking there.
And she had early in the series, we're trying to protect them.
Yeah, she has done that.
All she had to do was ask. Her resisting was causing her pain, but she fought through the pain. If he would have just said, "Man, fuck the scouts, help me out," she'd have turned them blades on everybody there.
Probably.
Yeah, because and it's some other cool details that I forgot to mention. Because if you realize when Mikasa goes into this realm of them, Mikasa and Eren talking, they look very different. It's like back to when there were, you know,
The
before
children.
all this nonsense was
I was
happening.
about.
Yeah,
That's what I was about to explain. And
exactly,
so
with the nice, with the hair and the look and stuff like that.
yeah,
And then another cool thing is throughout the whole series, we never see Ymir's eyes. It's always shrouded, always blacked
yeah.
out, right? But
Except
when
at the very
Mikasa
end.
did the kissing of, you know, of Aaron's head, which is kind of weird by the way, almost very Hamlet like. But yeah, you
Was
finally see Ymir's eyes. You finally see, like, it's almost like the spell was broken.
yeah.
Like she's like
She sees
she can
clearly.
finally, yeah, she sees clearly now. Yeah.
Yeah, she sees clearly now. The black rain on her eyes is gone.
Yeah, for
Um,
sure. Yeah.
so we get two pieces of this as I revert back to the end of part 2 before Mikasa finds the strength to do what she did. As she's having these headaches, she closes her eyes as she's on Falco's back, and she has a vision. And as we see the vision play out, we find out that that vision is the life that she wished that she could have had with Aaron. As we revert back to the scene that happened, I believe it was in season 3, where they had the option to run, they had the option to not involve Historia, let everything happen the way that it did, let Paradis fall to Marley, all of that jazz, right? Sean,
That
what's up?
happened though. Like looking at that scene, that happened.
Yeah.
But that's just another timeline. That's
Yeah,
just
that's what I'm saying. It's the life that it is another timeline, and it's two divergent timelines thanks to the power of the paths.
yeah, because if she tells Aaron in that moment, like when he like, how do you feel about me? If she comes clean and confesses, they run off into the sunset. They leave Armin behind. They leave everything behind.
Yeah.
And it's just them. And all she had to do was say yes, like the song. Like that's all she had to do was say, you know, I love you. Let's be together. And he would have boom been with it, but she didn't.
Oh,
and
she did. She family zoned him.
Yeah, and I think
family zoned him.
I think because Aaron has the founder
That's a new one, Angel.
power, he can see past, present, and future. So he sees that future and how that shit plays out. Like he's already lived it. So it's just like I can replay these memories. Like he never seen her when she got her hair cut. Like all his fondest memories of her was when her hair was long.
Yeah. And so it's 4 years. Yeah. That was happening like 4 years after the words or whatever. But
short hair, it's the same thing. She likes short hair, Aaron. So they're looking at each other.
Yeah. In this timeline, Aaron does have short hair.
Most recent memories of like, damn, that's how I remember you. So your best. It's kind of like when you see that girl you like back in the day at high school, and you see and she done gained about 50, and you like, damn,
I lucked out.
I've been there. I've been there. I'm like, I lucked the fuck out. Shit.
I've been on both ends where like, damn, I lucked out, and damn, I should have not fucking played her. I should have stuck with her.
Go the other way around and stuff, but you're gonna remember them what they look like when you saw them at school every day for 4 years straight. You don't see them for years, you know, even though it was just like he was in Marley for like what, a year and some change, not even 3 years. He was there for a quick little minute, but by then he was already going insane. So I don't think he could trust his memory.
He went insane. I think he went insane from the point that like he had that conversation with Armin, like when they were on the beach at the end of season.
No, it's not. So he went crazy when he touched Historia.
Yeah, when he made Crystal Cave. Oh, that the moment he realized, he told his dad, like it started happening because he started seeing everything he did, and I think that's why he got locked into believing it was incapable of escaping that fate, because he is trapped into it where he everything he sees, that's the outcome. So he didn't put forth the effort to actually change. There were an infinite amount of possibilities, but I think he was stuck on whatever one he was stuck in because of where his mind was. He couldn't think clearly. I can only imagine seeing time is everything is jumbled up at once. Like I knew when he told Armin, bruh, like, you know, there's a timeline where Berto would get killed, right? You know, from that Titan. You know,
and
that
as we get, I was gonna get into that.
We end up getting invaded by Marley. They just come anyway. But I realized if that timeline happens, then we don't get to this point. So in order for me to get to this point, bruh, I had to facilitate a timeline where my mom gets eaten, bro.
That he played part of, which we'll talk in the conversation. One of the things I just want to say also about the whole thing of how he was going crazy seeing the past, future, and present, right? So there's this one kid character that he had like a little fucking
Fez.
What the fuck? fez on his head, right?
Yeah.
So the first time we see him in the past, and he seems he got caught stealing whatever, right? Next time
Lost
we
a hand.
see him wet his hand, right? And then we see him trying to get beat up, and Aaron stops initially when he sees the kid getting beat up, right?
Yep.
And the reason for that is because he sees in the future, like, oh, I'm gonna kill him. I'm gonna be the reason that he's gonna die. But he's like, do I let him live now, or do I, save him, be potentially a hero for now, just to give him one of the worst deaths you can have?
Yeah,
And
right. It's like
that fear of altering the future because you know it's gonna happen. So it's like, you prevent it. Do you make it take its course? Because he cried. He went to that boy to the side and was just like, "I'm sorry." The boy looking at him.
Yeah, all the stuff that he couldn't tell everybody, he told that boy.
He told that little boy. Yeah.
He's sobbing, crying like that was his purest self. He's crying like, I'm sorry. I know I saved you now, but the fate that awaits you, I'm sorry. You're going to get stepped on.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're going to crush.
Everybody you love get trampled and burned to death. You're going to get stepped on and die, and I see what's going to happen to you. And you know what? I could save you. I could tell you to get off the island because of what's going to happen. But
he couldn't because he poor.
Seen it happen, so to me, it's real. I done already seen it happen, so fuck it.
Yeah. So basically,
we can go to this Aaron talk. I mean, the Armin talk.
No, that's what I was gonna say. So basically, that's the end of part 2. The end of part 3. Basically, Aaron's dead, and now we get the conversation that Starman alluded to with Aaron and Armin, and it starts with them as children, and it progresses over time. It starts with them as children in the walls, and they start going over all of the details of his plan. And as they progress, they go into them as teenagers, and as they progress, that goes into them as young adults, and then finally into that point. And to Starman's point, basically the gist of the conversation is basically Aaron saying, like, I've gone through infinite timelines, and this is the only timeline where like it works. I die, you guys are heroes, you kill me, and that way you don't have the rest of the world, what's left of the rest of the world, coming after Parody Island because of the fact that you basically helped me facilitate this mass murder. I kill over 80% of the world's population. You managed to stop me before I kill the rest of the population, and this is the only way it could be. And you see Armin just snap, and he's like, you're telling me we did all this for nothing? Like, you could have changed the fate. You really could have like done something about this. You could have had us not go through this hell, and you chose not to. And he's like, it's not that I wanted to do this, it's that I had to basically do this. And then they start talking a little bit about Mikasa, and basically Armin punches him in the face when he's like, oh, I guess whatever, when he's acting different about Mikasa. And he's like, you had that girl, like she was the one, she was down for you, she, whatever you said and did, she hung by your very like existence, and you just treated her like a toy, like, you're an asshole. And then what's it called? Aaron's like, I do want her to find happiness, but whatever, like I don't. And so basically Armin's like, you know what, it's fine. She is going to find happiness sooner than you think, and she's going to move on and be happy. And you see basically Aaron for the first time in these whole breakdowns kind of like break down and basically acknowledge the fact that he loved her too, and the fact that he did and said what he said to them, so that way he can galvanize them to turn on him and fulfill the destiny that he created, which was to kill them, because had he not done that, they would have never gone through with it. So he had to pull that feeling out of them to see the deed through. And so basically, as that scene ends, we basically find out that with the Founder's power, they hug, they embrace, and they basically Aaron basically says like, hey, I'm gonna erase your memories now, but when I die and this is all said and done the way that it's supposed to be, you'll remember it all. And they say okay, and the memories are erased. And then that's when we get the scene from the part finale 1, where we see Armin just staring out into the abyss while Annie's on the deck, and then they whisk over and they have their conversation where they get together. So there's that piece as well. And then finally, basically, as they kill Aaron, as we said, beginning with the killing of Zeke, the rumbling stops itself, and then the whole ordeal, once Aaron dies, is done. And with the final act of his founding powers, he basically destroys the power of the Titan and reverts everybody back to human state. None of the Titans have their powers anymore. None of the humans that were turned into Titans are Titans anymore. They all revert back to being human. And we get like our basically our happily ever afters with everybody as we see the remainder of the series kind of progress, where you see that the allies, they all come together. They're now this new united nation, this allied front. We have basically the war heroes, the former Titans. They now act as liaisons to the rest of the world, claiming that they basically they save the world, and so they have to act as a peace front. And we basically kind of see everyone's lives move forward. We see a timeline skip 3 years later. Everybody's kind of doing their own thing, and the episode basically ends a couple ways. First piece of that couple ways is Mikasa. She leaves, by the way, after everything's all said and done with the happy endings with everybody. She leaves and she tells Armin, like, hey, I'm going to leave ahead of you. They won't allow Eren a proper burial if I stay and they see me with his head. So she goes back to their hometown. She buries him under the tree, where everything kind of takes place from season 1 onward, where Eren would take naps as a kid. And we fast forward 3 years later and we see Mikasa there, and she's crying. She wishes to see Eren. Eren's buried under the tree. She has a little slab stone. And as she says, I wish I could see Eren again. You got the beautiful music playing. There's a bird, to Starman and Angel's point. There's a bird. It's poetic. The bird pulls the scarf over Mikasa, and Mikasa realizes, oh, that was Eren who sent the bird. And the final words from Mikasa that we hear is, Eren, thank you for putting this scarf over me, as we get the rolling credits. Second piece of the ending is, as we get the rolling credits, we see the progression of life within the town. You see the seasons change. You see the visitors there visiting his grave. And then if you really pay attention closely, which was a nice detail, you see the same visitors, but now they've got children. Now they've got grandchildren. And as
by the
you
way, that was Mikasa and supposedly John.
Yeah.
Which,
you can tell.
Again, just randomly.
They never said who that. I guess who she ends up with.
No, they don't. But I think it's from a lot of the analysis that I've read on it. It seems like consensus.
If you really pay attention, I tried to pay attention. There's like a semblance of brown hair next to her.
And I'll say, for whatever reason, I know John's been like a critical part of the series from like that first episode. I completely forgot him as a character. It wasn't until I was like, John, who the fuck is John? Like,
his best scenes all involve Connie and Sasha. Yeah. That was it. And when Sasha died, he became that's when he became the most critical, after Sasha died.
Yeah. But I never hear anyone say, John, like everyone's name gets screamed except John. No one,
Connie a little bit more, John a little less, but he played his part in the final two.
For sure, yeah.
Yeah. So as we see the end of the series, we see the progression of life in the world, as we see the town turn into a metropolis, and then it turns into a Neo city, and then we see the Neo city come under war, and we see the Neo city destroyed, and then we see nuclear bombs finally come over the destroyed city and obliterates the city, and that leads to the final scene of the series, where you see an unknown boy, some sort of traveling like refugee of some description, or a homeless little boy, and a dog, and they come across the tree. And after all this obliteration and war and time, however many hundreds of or thousands of years, the tree has grown exponentially. It is a giant tree, and there's a crack in the middle of the tree that leads you to someplace unknown, as the series goes to Finn.
Yeah.
And that's the end of Attack on Titan.
And just, so when Ymir, when she found hallucinogen, whatever, I think that's called, hallucinogen, whatever, it was like same concept of going to a tree and all that. Like that tree it's like a series where everything starts because of that damn tree and because of the damn hallucinogen.
Could have went through there and found the Titan. This whole shit starts.
That is you could think of it as a tree of life.
No, and that's what it is. It is a tree. It is essentially the tree of life. I mean, that's what it's basically implied. The Wessel, when they go to this other realm, there's a tree, with branches and stuff like that. But
yeah.
But yeah. So one thing I did want to say, going back to the discussion with Eren and Amir, fuck his name is. Anyways, that seems to be the big change from the manga. So in the anime, the revelation that Eren has killed 80% of the people, right? Mm-hmm. And then it was like, the guy goes like, "Oh shit, what the fuck?" Like, he reacts, In the manga, that conversation actually starts or happens in the beginning of the conversation when he reveals 80%, and then Armin goes like, "Oh my God, you did a genocide for us! Oh my goodness, thank you!" It's like, and that seems to be something that the community, the manga community, really held on to. I'm like, that is fucking stupid. Like, this kid who has a good heart and all that, he's like, oh, thank you for committing genocide for us. It's like, it didn't make sense. I like the way that anime did it, where it was a revelation, like, ah, fuck, like, damn
Is
it,
this
like,
part of that like stupid like criticism that he got, that the author got for writing that in?
yeah,
And so he managed to rectify it, at least in the end.
that's a major part of it, because if like, considering how the real world's going and stuff like that, like that aspect of it is like, oh cool, he's just hand waving genocide because like you just kill 80% of the people, right? But that's like a big change from the anime to the manga, which I think people, I think overall, was thought was pretty cool.
That is a good
why he had to apologize. Honestly, once I saw it and I realized, like, I went to go and see if it was confirmed, if it was a big change. It was like, nah, bro, we ain't changed the ending. This is pretty much the same ending the manga readers got. And I was like, this is the ending y'all motherfuckers were bitching about for like.
It wasn't as bad. I was expecting something absolutely horrendous, and it wasn't that bad.
But I think is that conversation is what really pissed people off, because if they feel it was completely against that character, and then not only that, it devalues fucking everything, because everyone's just like, oh, it's just genocide, cool, but there's more to Eren than just committing genocide. So this kind of
that's the overall arch of the series that people would just clearly ignore.
This kind of goes back to Eren as a character, and if you see my shit says, I say fuck Eren, right? Because at the end of the day, even he agrees himself, is like, oh, I'm
an idiot. Right? He said that. He literally says in the conversation with Armin, I'm an idiot. I'm your garden hose idiot that managed to get power.
Yeah. So in all of the realities that he saw, he would see his people and his friends were going to get killed. No matter what, there's no path to take, right? So his reasoning was, let me go ahead, do this type of rumbling, whatever, and to scare people, because that's actually what the initial rumbling was created.
Supposed to be. It was supposed to be just trample over Marley. It was just supposed to stop at Marley.
But it was supposed to be kind of like right now, with, we're in a situation where everyone's like, oh, nuclear that, right? It's like a deterrent. That's what it really was. The actual rumbling was never supposed to actually happen, but in Eren's eyes, there was no other choice. Now, what happened was, once he decided to do the rumbling, he was already fucking crazy, and he just indiscriminately just killed everything. That's why if you look at the initial episodes of the rumbling, or scenes of the rumbling, you'll see they don't only just show the people dying, they show livestock dying, they show horses, he's literally destroying all of not only humanity, but living things. Existence, right?
Green plains turn to dust.
Exactly. Which is why the conversation kind of annoyed me, which I'm glad the conversation was the way it was, with between Eren and Armin, the kind of explanation why it would happen, because you really see Eren. I think you see the true Eren in that situation. Because once we get to the final, to the quote unquote final season of fucking 8 million parts, right? You see a very different Eren, and I feel at that point you don't see the Eren that we all watched together. We see a completely different Eren, right?
No, it went from Eren being the annoying fucking boy that why is he like the shittiest, like one of the shittier main characters, to like fucking demonic fucking Satan Eren.
One of the and we'll talk about how the whole season is, but like that right there, and that's why, like, it's funny because I see a lot of people that are like, oh, I defend Eren. Like, even himself doesn't defend. Like, even himself doesn't defend it.
He says, "I'm a piece of shit. I'm a piece of shit." He literally says it.
Yeah, and all this. That's why, with the way in the manga, it appears as like, oh, he killed 80% of people. Cool. Oh, hey, that's awesome, right? In the anime, even though it was still like, oh, man, you fucked up. But in reality, it's like, you know what? I fucked up because I enabled you to get to this point. Which was a nice twist. But at the same time, I'm like, he fucking killed 80% of the fucking population. And at the and
they still love you.
And they still love
you. Eren.
Listen, I have a whole bunch of friends, right? Let's say, Ethan, I support all your nonsense and all that. If you ever do something as terrible as that, I'll be like, yo, damn, you fucked up. Like, that's fucked. Like, I have a boss who I have a boss who I was kind of close with who killed his wife. You know what? And that's like me going, you know, I support him. Like, no, fuck
No,
him. It's a shit.
no, you don't do that
No.
shit.
Yeah,
That's
so
like the Chris Benoit shit. Like, oh,
yes,
Chris Benoit was so amazing. Okay, let's forget about the fact that he murdered his entire family.
yes. So that's why I hated that aspect of it because I was like, yo, like how he killed your own team members and y'all still defend. Yeah, but anyways, but
He
yeah,
even
sorry, I
says
got
it.
to
He's like, I
overranding
got
that.
Sasha and I got fucking Hanji killed.
No,
Specifically, he names those two.
more than that. Because
More than that, of course, but he names those two
keep in mind,
specifically.
and the cool revelation in that conversation, which was quickly went past by, was when it revealed that the initial shock of what caused Aaron to really go down this path was seeing his mom get eaten by the Titan.
That
But
he caused.
you find out he
Yeah,
caused that.
Berthold needed to live, so I had him eat my mom, who I loved and had nothing to do with anything that Grisha or this time had anything to do with.
Exactly. So that was another cool revelation, you know. But yeah, it just goes
That
to
was
show you, it's
shocking.
like, yeah,
That was shocking.
he fucked up. But yeah, sorry, we can go
No,
on
you're
next.
good. You're good. No,
No.
you're
To
good.
me, the way I looked at this is like spoiler alert for people who ain't seen it.
I mean, I just spoiled the whole fucking episode.
I know,
So.
yeah. If at this point, yeah.
I mean, for this, I've seen how Code Geass ends.
Oh yeah.
So I know of like I've seen the whole I'm gonna be the bad guy for the world, and you guys get to kill the bad guy, and killing the bad guy, you guys will be revered. I've seen that trope, but the
Which was
difference
bastardly done in Geass. One of the best endings I've ever seen.
ain't nobody see it. Ain't nobody see it. And this one, it was all word of mouth. It was like you can just trust us to say we did it. We did it. The issue is let's say they just stopped at Marley. The problem is after you stop at Marley, everybody is thinking that at some point they're gonna be next.
Yep.
You gotta rule with fear. At that point, you gotta take over the world. You gotta put an iron fist on and just be like, look, at this point, we running the show. The problem is one day you ain't gonna live that long because you got these Titan powers. So you got to pass them on.
Yeah, 13 years.
Totally trust that the person you're gonna pass them on to ain't gonna suffer some Shakespearean romance that's gonna doom it. Because all it's gonna take is one dude, one little girl, one little boy who get this Titan power, whose lover stays, whose crush stays in one of these damn countries. I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna participate. I'm not going down.
But then you start the other vicious cycle of like now other countries have a Titan, and now they're facing this Titan. Now you've split the Titans.
And they defect, go to that other country. Now they're loyal to this other country, and now you just it's like it took.
That's the real start of World War III, right there. Four, whatever it is in this.
Think about it. The aliens were on top for so long because of these Titan powers, but eventually all the infighting. Same Game of Thrones shit. All the infighting and all the political bullshit from the inside made other people jump to different factions. And when they were no longer united, what happened? The Marleyans came. Now, what I can say is, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I have an ancestry, you know, dipped in slavery. You know what I'm saying? So I can completely understand and empathize with, like, that shit hit close to home when you like, dog. Like these folks are third world citizens. These folks got their foot on their neck, and a lot of people do a lot of.
Literally World War II, World War One.
No,
that's literally it. World War One, World War II.
I give you my own personal example of why this is why I felt. But keep going. I got an example. Just go on the same path.
This oppression, and it becomes Stockholm syndrome. It's not that different from Ymir and Fitz. These people is like I couldn't be Gabby. I couldn't be Berthold. You telling me I could turn to a giant? Man, fuck y'all. The moment you give me that, it's over with. I'm Nat Turner and all y'all motherfuckers. Why the fuck? You telling me they gave them this power and still had enough mind control over them to make them like enough self-hatred. They convinced them to hate their own people so much that they go over to that island to like go and fuck them up. Like it's straight up. They were psychologically like beaten. It wasn't even like that you were just dangling the carrot of less oppression in front of them. They really love Marley advertised the lifestyle that they felt like they had to have.
Psychological operations.
So sold on.
And they beat them into that because they're like, if you don't have this lifestyle, you're gonna be treated like shit. You're gonna be spat on, kicked. Fucking your family could be murdered. Like what happened with Zeke.
Whole world. So they couldn't have never stopped at Marley. That's my whole thing. So now that I think about it, it's just like, no, they couldn't stop at Marley and just but you need that deterrent. That's the problem. Once the
Yeah.
deterrent goes away, that's how the eventual war ends up repeating, because it's
Yeah.
just like, it's like America. We done did a lot of shit, but if we ever say we ain't got no more bombs, people gonna try us. But as long as people remember Nagasaki, they're gonna be like, bruh, we ain't gonna fuck with America because they will drop that bomb. We ain't gonna fuck with the aliens because they will transform on our ass. But once you pull the trigger on that, people got to know that you still got that threat. Once the whole world know you ain't got that threat no more, it's like, oh, they can't turn the Titans no more. They can't turn the, oh man, let's blow their ass up, because they lying, bro. One day somebody gonna be born with that power. We don't want that. Let's get rid of them now.
Yeah.
Because then nobody want to breed with them. Like, they got to the point where, like, then nobody, it was straight inbreed. It was a race. Like, that's one thing that they didn't do, is they didn't present no Marlians who was like, oh, I think it was there undercover. Like, my mom was an LD and my dad was a Marlian or some shit like that. For the most part, nobody really want to inbreed with them, because it was just like, nah, I ain't want my child to have that devil power. I don't want that.
Yeah, and that's why I kind of like when always see people online like, hey, we're Aaron, we support Aaron, this and that, and because it's that's the thing, because if you look at the history, it was explained. Yeah, it's a vicious back and forth between the two groups going back and forth. So for me, okay, so I experienced this. So when I went to Iraq, I had to deal with the Muslims, right? But you have Sunni and Shia, right? Same religion, but two very different beliefs, right? And they would kill each other left and right. So when Saddam was in charge, it was the Sunnis. When we toppled down Saddam, then the Shias took in charge, right? And the Shias were like, oh, y'all fucked us for fucking decades. Now we're gonna fuck y'all Sunnis. And that was the constant battle that we were caught in the middle of, that we kind of helped create, right? But that's why I was like, it's not black and white. This is back and forth. If you give power to another one, right? To the Jaegers, if you give power to the to the Malian, it's gonna same shit. They're gonna want to take power. It's gonna go back and forth.
It's a power struggle. That's all it is.
It's a power struggle. So that's why Aaron felt he had to do what he had to do. And in the end, it kind of did work, because it created a thing where, like, yo, we all got to work together now. This whole thing of going back and forth it's not worth it.
Yeah,
Plus,
but I think one of the things that you mentioned earlier in our group chat is, at the end of the day, like, Aaron's whole idea was to save humanity and have peace in humanity. But the problem is that he stopped the oppression, but humans are still humans. People are still fucked up.
He want to save the world. He didn't want to heal.
Nope. He didn't want to save the world. That's the thing.
He wanted peace for his friends.
Yeah.
For his friends.
For the rest of their lives. He knew that at some point human nature or history was gonna repeat itself.
Yeah, he did. And that's where you see at the end scenes with the bombs and the war and the nuclear fucking explosion.
Because you left 20% alive, but those people wrote books. They was like, bro, I was alive. I was a little boy when Titans walked the whole earth and stepped on everybody. Like,
I see my mama, I see my friend, I see my grandfather, I seen like my whole village.
Like, I mean, I think like at that point, like if he wouldn't have took the power away, people would have been fighting over the Titan power. Marlins would have had to rule the earth. They could have did it nicely. They could have did it democratically. But then again, it's too much. Nobody on Attack on Titan was good at playing politics. Let's call a spade a spade.
Yeah, no, they're all terrible.
That politics. No, they knew how to kill a Titan, but none of them knew how to talk to people. They didn't know how to convince people.
No, Erwin could do that. No, Erwin the GOAT, he could lead.
Nobody else gave a fuck about playing politics. I was like, bro, all y'all need is good ass lip service and a little bit of fear. Y'all got one in space. Give me some lip service. Like,
but you know what? But I'm just a bit to the counter of whoever has the Titans now would control. I think if you look at the big battle, in the first episode of the final season, right? You saw that having the Titans is like a trump card, but technology is now surpassing that. So it's no longer. It's almost like before we were just fighting with swords and you introduced guns, right? Well, now the Titans were big and all that, but there were some battles they could have lost. So I think down the path it would have kept going the same way, and that's why in the end, humanity just did what humanity does, just destroy it because of the technology. So even though the Titan power was removed, it did not remove anything revolving to technology. It just kept getting worse, and then we get to the point where they destroy each other. Yeah. Again. Yeah. But wait, so what do you guys think of that final episode?
I loved it when it was all said and done. I thought it was a good cap for everything. You know, for me, it hits a little different because y'all watched it more or less when it dropped. Every season when it dropped, I took a year and it's some change, like to binge it more or less on and off for a year. I
That's a
watched
great
it.
experience, though.
So it was a great binge.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, it was a great
No,
binge.
yeah. See,
It
you
gives
better
credence. It gives credence to the shit that I always talk shit about, like, oh, binging anime sucks. It should be done when it drops. No, unfortunately, now with the way my life is, I'm having to binge anime, and there's certain animes that there's nothing wrong with binging, and so I binged that some bitch. I thought it was pretty poetic. I didn't have to deal with the suffering of like, oh, part 1 this year, part 2 next year, part 3 the year after that. I didn't have to deal with that.
That was me in Game of Thrones. That was me in Game of
Oh
Thrones.
Lord, Game of Thrones, man.
I didn't watch Game of Thrones from the beginning. I didn't watch Game of Thrones till season 4 came out. So I got to see the first season, season 1, season 2, season 3, Red Wedding. I got to see all of that in the same week.
Yeah.
You know, in the same amount of time because I was just watching it. I enjoyed the finale. I enjoyed how it topped off the series. I love epilogues. If you give me an epilogue with some closure, I'm cool. I don't like
that too.
To the last 5 minutes and I only get 5 minutes of closure. I like the fact that I got a whole 30 minutes of closure. It was conversations.
They did what the show does best, and that is tie in pieces. One of the best things I tell people about Attack on Titan is the show will give you 1 billion revelations and does a great job of tying in each one of those revelations with an additional layer or an answer to your question or to your premise. And they do a great job of that throughout the entire series.
And they put so much in plain sight. Like I shared that article today. I seen that
article.
That
was crazy.
But when I go back, I can't wait to go back and rewatch it so I can catch these details because I'm reading this like, holy shit, how did I miss that? It was so many things.
Easter eggs galore, and you didn't even know.
First time. So I'm anxious to go back and rewatch it, which is why I'm more or less hesitant to give it like my final score because
for sure,
say jumping from Wit Studio to Mappa, that's a ding. Not because Mappa did anything wrong, but when you change like the last 2 seasons, like the final season, they even had to call it something different. It was so subtle. It wasn't Attack on Titan. It was Attack on Titan, the final chapters. They had this for production reasons. They had to call it something a little different, even though it was still Attack on Titan. What I also learned was I did not know which studio was a subsidiary of Production IG. I learned that today, and I was like, oh damn, I didn't know that. But the reason why it transferred is basically after Magus Bride came out. Because of Attack on Titan, Wit Studio ended up becoming one of the top, highest quality, companies in Japan when it comes to producing anime, and they could no longer take on these new ideas and do Attack on Titan justice. And they said actually, Mappa took it on because everybody else refused it. Everybody else was like, "Bro, we can't live up to the standard of quality y'all set," and Mappa was like, I think we can. We want to try some CGI shit. Is it okay if we do that? And it was like, shit, have at it. Sure. And that's why they ended up like going with Mappa. And then Mappa used that to fund Chainsaw Man, which is why they super rich now. They popular and they can pay their living wages to their employees. But the final production, it changed how things looked. You know, the things with the black lines over the eyes, had to get used to that. I like when they did the flashback scenes, and you got a chance to compare them between Wit and Mappa. They kind of adjusted some of the coloring. They were a little more closer to the manga and how it looked. I think Mappa did a fantastic job. I wouldn't pick anybody else to adapt this. It was fantastic.
Okay.
It looked great. I love the finale. I hate how they paced it out. Part 1, final season, part 1, final season, part 2, final season, part 2, part 1.
Yeah, no, that was really dumb. Really
dumb. So I'm gonna give my thoughts. So I feel like Game of Thrones is a great example of how I feel about the series, right? So when Game of Thrones was out, I was a hardcore Game of Thrones fan. Like I went from season 1, season 2, season 3. I read the books, all that, and then background stuff, which the Double J's, which are the creators of it, they try to do stuff with Disney, and thus it fucked with the schedule of what was coming out, and had to change some stuff because at that point there was
chemistry up.
And then it came to where even in the episode, the HBO had to negotiate how many episodes they're going to do, so they truncated, they did a whole bunch of crazy shit, right? But the schedule and that tempo really messed with it, right? So by itself, with this episode, it's one of the greatest greatest endings of an anime of all time. It's up there with, you know, like I would put up there with Devilman Crybaby. I would put up there like
Code Geass for me.
Yeah, Code Geass. You know, it's up there. But you have to put it. Then I gotta put it in the context of the bullshit that fucking Mappa put us through, right? So I get it. They're top notch fucking production company. They are right there. But what came with that is they take on too many projects. And if you read the background of what's happened with these map animators and just animators in general in Japan, they're underpaid, they're overworked, and it's a constant grind. Like it's nonstop. So because of Mappa overreaching and got greedy by wanting to do all these other series, it fucked with Attack on Titan. Now, one thing you missed by doing like binging all at once was the main issue was when you call something the final season, right? We did not know
the end.
Exactly. Literally, the final episode of part 1 of the final season, after the episode ended in Japan, it goes part 2 next year, and you're like, the fuck? Wait a minute now.
Yeah.
Like why call it the final season? Call it something else, right?
Season 4, and that's how it's listed in Crunchyroll. It's listed as season 4 in Crunchyroll.
Exactly. And then, okay, we're like, okay, part 2. Clearly, that's the end of the fucking series. No, they go and milk it again.
The
and
final chapter is
we're gonna have a part 3 now. And then they go, let's go another year for part A of part 3. So that
at least you got it a couple months apart.
It was season 1, season 2, season 3, season 4, final season 1, final season 2, final chapter 1, final chapter 2. You broke down the final season basically into 6 different pieces.
It really felt like they were milking the series.
It should be season 5. It should be season 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, part 1, 2, 3. And you can still deal with the bullshit parts, but at least you have a definitive season 4, and then you have a definitive path. I would certainly agree with that because I hate like that wording convention too. It fucks with me because I like things to be linear. So I get that perspective. Even though I didn't suffer with it, I 1000% get it. Just my OCD kind of kicks in from the people.
Between season 1 and 2, we had to wait 4 years.
Yeah.
Like,
and I'm gonna talk about that.
2013 or 2017. Yeah.
I graduated college between season 1 and season 2. I remember I watched the first episode. First episode I watched, I was spending the night at my girlfriend's house, and I remember I was in the room by myself. I don't know what she was doing, and I was like, my friends would tell me about this shit called Attack on Titan. Let me watch it because I was all up in the SAO. So I was like, man, let me watch Attack on Titan.
I love SAO until like this last season.
And then I watched it, and I'm like, oh shit, this woman got 8. And I didn't give a fuck about the series. So I binged the first season. I didn't watch the Attack on Titan first season 1 is like 12 episodes in when I first watched it. Like damn near. I literally watched the first, I think 8 or 9 episodes in the same night. Like I was just like, hey, get off me. I'm watching this shit on my phone. I watched this on my fucking phone, like oh my god, like this shit is amazing.
Your iPhone 10 or 9, whatever it was.
Back then, I think I had I definitely had a HTC.
I had one of those. I got stolen.
I had an HTC.
I got stolen. That's a Windows phone. That's how you know you got it bad. That's a Windows phone.
It was a Windows phone back then. It was
I had the HTC Windows phone, bro. That was my very first smartphone, and they got stolen from me. That was the first one I got off the Sidekick.
But I think I watched it on my PlayStation 3. It was one of the two. But I watched it, and I ended up binging half of the first season. But the first season was long. The second season was short. The third season was long. And then when they pace out this at the end, it's like, bro, it's been over 10 years. It's been a decade. So I'm glad they finally ended it. But honestly, giving it to us in movie form even felt like, okay, it felt good watching, because I would have hated to have had to watch chapter 1, wait a week, chapter 2, wait a week, chapter 3, wait a week.
Yeah, I love it. I agree with that.
I love that they actually gave us to this shit in the 90-minute chunks. And I was just like, damn, it would have been better if they would have just gave us 2 90-minute chunks at the same time. You know,
well, do you think it would have been better if they gave us a 2.5-hour movie? A la like Marvel, because it's an hour for the first one and an hour and a half for the second one. That's 2.5 hours.
2 90-minute chunks than it would have, just because of how intense it was. You couldn't have cut this shit off. Like
they broke it up good too.
Yeah, Ethan. I mean, like Zeke catching Aaron's head, and then the episode go off. because Gabby just sniped this motherfucking head.
Yeah, one of the best scenes ever.
Then he catch it, and the episode go off. And you're like, oh, I can't wait.
And when I binged it, that's what kept me going. It's like 2 a.m. I'm tired. I seen Gabby fucking take off Aaron's head. I'm like, it's over. It's over. But I gotta see it over. It's over, right?
See,
nope.
You know, and it's funny when you mention that, like the way I consumed it is, I just want to say that I'm gonna talk about you, Ethan, because
we'll get to my story. We'll
get to it. Yeah, so I can talk about my overall thoughts. It's like, I think overall as a series, it was a love, hate relationship with it at the end, and in love because it turned out to be great. So I do want to go back, like you, Starman. I want to go back and like just watch it now that it's completely full dubbed and see, you know, how it is, right? So a big argument I always have people. So when I first saw it, it took me 3 tries to finish season 1. So I was first watching when it was coming out in 2013. It's one of the series that I heard about. I'm like, oh, let me go watch it, right? It was cool. The action was awesome, but it was just like, okay, they're just
eat people,
naked giants,
naked giants eat people. That's
cool,
not really interesting. Who cares?
Cool. Okay, you know. Then, you know, I went to Afghanistan, so I ended up missing it. So when I come back, and that was when kind of spurred when I was creating the group. I was like, you know, and we're talking about stuff we love. I started hearing about Attack on Titan because at that point it was 2017 or 2018 again, right? And it's like season 2 was pretty cool. So I didn't check it though. Season 3, everyone was raving about. I'm like, okay, now let me actually go back and enjoy it. And that was when I said, okay, this is a controversial take, but season 1 is a complete disservice to the whole series because So for me, one of my favorite series of all time is Lost. It's actually my favorite series of all time. It's because of the community of trying to figure out what the mysteries are and stuff like that, right? A plain old action. If Lost was just a plain old action adventure shit, I would have been bored, right? Because it's just whatever. See it all the time. But once, and you kind of see that near the end of season 1, when there's like mysteries, like what's at the basement, right? And then you start seeing, oh shit, what the fuck? There's a Titan on the wall, like. But yet to get there, you have to deal with 24 episodes. But I felt that was meandering, right? So when you get to season 2, you realize, oh wait a minute, there's fucking these guys that are trained with Eren. They're actually like fucking spies for another fucking group of people. What the fuck? And then you see the ending, the ending video that they always do, the outro, and it's like, what the fuck is this? It's kind of weird. It's kind of like old English drawings, and it's kind of like,
no, they're telling you the fucking series
story, yeah, but you don't kind of realize that.
Yeah, you don't realize that until somebody points it out.
Oh, wait a minute, this is an onion. There's levels to this. There's a whole ass story behind this, and you get to season 3, and then you start seeing them like, oh wait a minute, there's a whole ass group of people that want to take over. There's this whole history behind this. It's not just giants just eating people. No. It is legit a
millennia. It is 2 millennia worth of fucking history that brought you to this moment.
Yes, and then they shattered the fucking internet. I want to say it was season 3. If not, it was season 4. Because the final season, was that season 4 or season 5?
Oh, final season was 4. So
it was
season 4 and then the final season. They called
it sucks, Ethan, that you weren't watching when I told you to watch it, right?
No, so my story. I told you.
No. And the reason is that revelation that Eren was the one who fucking did this whole thing. He's the one that got into the ear of his dad to say, fuck him, and kill them all. That thus started Eren's dad, take him to the basement, turn Eren into a Titan. That was caused by him. That reveal broke the internet. It broke the fucking internet because it was like, holy fuck. This is some wild fucking shit. Who comes up with this? This is insane. And that was when I was like, yeah. And that was when I was like, okay, yo, you gotta check this out, Ethan. But the whole time you kept fighting me because you're like, hey, you know, fucking, it's just giants eating. And that's why I always told people, because every person, there has not been a single person. Now, mind you, of course, there's outliers. Every single person I've talked to online and in real life, when I tell them Attack on Titan, and they go, Why is that? Because they check out season 1 and they go, it's just giants eating people.
I made it
That's
through
it.
6 episodes. I watched the first 6 episodes
And
after
that's
the
why
hype,
I always told people.
and I was like, "This is, I'm good."
Yeah,
I don't
and that's
care.
what I always tell people. Just watch a recap. Watch a recap season 1. Don't even bother with season 1. Just watch a recap. And people would argue with me. And then remember when season 3 happened, and I remember Zach in the group, he was one of the ones who was like, "Fuck, Angel, I guess you were fucking right. Like, goddamn, we should just watch a recap video because it's so."
I didn't want to do that though. So when I finally had the time, and I was like, I'm gonna do it the way it's supposed to be, and I suffered through it. And it's around episode, I think, like 12 or 13, midway through, when you're like, okay, there's some story here, and then now you go through the roller coaster of what you just said, like reveal after onion after layer after mystery after revelation after drama after more reveals after holy fuck after oh my god what the fuck, yo. You go through that roller coaster, and you have to, like you said, you can watch the recap video. It makes sense. I suffered through it. I got halfway through, and I was like, all right, there's more to it than just naked giants. All right, I'm going to keep going.
I think I'm real easy because the moment I seen his mom get eaten, I'm sold. At that point, I'm fucking sold. And they leave, and I'm like, what the fuck is in the basement? What the fuck is in the basement? Every episode, I didn't give a fuck what happened. Annie popped up. They doing fisticuffs. That shit's awesome. What's in the basement? What's in the basement? They didn't get that to episode 50. It took them 50 episodes to get to the basement. But that entire season 1, I want to know what the fuck is going on. So when, the thing was like, bro, how y'all stop these giants? Aaron, like, what the hell is going on? So me dealing with that. Season 1 was good as far as world building because I was completely satisfied.
You know what got me in season 1 too? Angel love this. When I saw fucking Annie doing MMA as a giant,
and she still did it.
Sold me. I was like, yo.
Dude, in the final episode, she does the pettis fucking kick because she fucking jumps off one of the walls and does a
she jumps off the rib of the guy and fucking does a round kick. Yeah.
I
was like, yo, this MMA. Annie should be fucking UFC champion, not Ronda Rousey.
Season 1 tells it to me as it like action, as this action adventure, like adrenaline junkie type show, which I'm into shows with deep stories. But to me, I agree with what you said, partially to the fact that when you do get to season 2 and you get to season 3, it starts layering. When you like the big twist comes when they finally make it to the ocean at the end of season 3, and you're like, damn. Wait a minute. Are you serious? It's a whole world out there. This is not just 100 years. It's a couple thousand years. It's
and then only that. And then it cuts to the Beast Time talk.
Yeah.
And the Beast Time talk, you're like, oh, he fucking talks?
They have intelligence?
He can talk. I thought it was a giant monkey. I'm feeling like
I felt a little racist thinking that, but that's what I thought.
But no, it's like I'm just seeing him throwing like a baseball, and I was like, bro, that's a wind up, bro. That's a like if that.
And you find out where he got it from. You're throwing a baseball with the doctor.
Baseball. It's like all this shit was practical, not like completely like. Now I'm gonna go full fiction here. In my mind, if technology is catching up and these Titans are becoming outdated, I'm gonna treat this Titan like an Ava, and I'm gonna make a giant ass gun for this Titan.
Well, that's what they did in season 4.
You know, with the cart.
Yeah, with the cart Titan, and it was the It was the armor Titan. Fucking what's his face? Rainer was having problems, and then it took Zeke. It took Zeke saving them because the other Titans during that battle between the Marlians and whoever the fuck was they were invading or whatever, they had problems because the technology was starting to catch up. They had anti-Titan guns, which is basically the giant ballistic fucking rifle that I don't know what it's called. Angel, like the giant the shell.
When he used his jaw and he fucking bit the motherfucker and just drank that spinal fluid. I'm like, oh, like Aaron just had so many badass moments. Like him turning into a villain at the end was like, it was satisfying because it was
very satisfying.
Like I wanted the oppressors to get their get back. I was just like, nah, bro, I need y'all to get y'all get back, bro, because I need y'all to. But I didn't. Well, when it came down, he was like, "Nah, bro, the whole world gotta suffer." I was like, "Bro,
nah, exactly, bro." I was like, "That's where he lost me." Bro. When he was like, "Let's kill all Marley," hell yeah, let's do it. Let's slaughter them all of them, women, children, all of them, get them. And then he said, "The world." I'm like, all right, player, that's going too far.
Fuck Annie, fuck Gabby.
But I love Gabby. I love Gabby. Get it out of here.
I hated Gabby so much, and then.
Bro, I ain't like her. I felt like Ethan when she turned to a Titan. I was like, thank God, finally. I was pissed off when she changed back. Man, I wanted her to be like done. Like I didn't care at this point. If it ain't Armin, if it ain't Mikasa, if it ain't Levi, I don't give a fuck who dies at this point. Like I just
want
want
them all to die.
It's true. If Gabby died, no one like a lot of people would have bitched, but a lot of us would have been like, all right, cool.
I mean, she was Eren reincarnated.
Literally, when she turned into Titan, I was like,
Eren,
I thought in my head when she turned into a Titan, I was like, oh, Sasha must be happy.
I like the fact that Eren was very literal. Everything he said he was gonna do, he did. He said, I am going to do in episode 1. What does he say? I'm going to destroy every Titan.
He did it.
He does at the end of the series.
He did it.
He's like, bro, I'm destroying every Titan. You know, but I mean, I can kind of feel him in the idea that, you know, the whole world sat back and watched us get oppressed. Y'all gotta suffer for not stepping in
for 2,000 years of oppression.
Yep, and then only that, and then remember,
but think about it though, they oppressed everybody else. That was just get back because they had their foot on the whole world net through fear.
Yeah,
like they motivated the world to create these weapons because y'all got giants. Y'all got 9 giants. I'm gonna manipulate y'all. I'm pretty sure some got bought through money, some through fear, some through sex, through whatever contemptible means you can.
Like, but imagine though, Marley too. They were down the giants. They didn't have the Attack Titan. They didn't have the what's it called? The Taekwondo Titan. I forget her name. Whatever Titan it was. I call it Taekwondo Titan.
They have some other name.
They didn't have Beast Titan. They didn't have they got the Beast Titan back, and they got the Armor Titan back after they had lost the Armor Titan, but they lost the Colossal Giant. They lost critical Titans, and they were still like just destroying the world, even without the Attack Titan, the Colossal Titan, and the what's it called? The Martial Arts Titan.
Yeah. See, the issue was one when Eren went and did his whole thing of destroying, but the Marlians, they fucked up when they convinced the world saying no, these guys look at Eren, no, and he actually, because you keep at that point, so that's nothing to be mentioned about the series is like the Fountain Titan, they're able to just like get rid of the memory of everyone, so no one had a memory.
Yeah, of Fritz.
Of the wars, the Fritz, of who actually
was Ymir and Fritz,
not in charge, right? So when the dude reveals to the rest of the world, like, yeah, hey, this is actually a fucking thing, and look at Eren, look at all that. These people fucking bought into it because all they know is there's a small little island, and they're fucking shit up. Yo, we gotta be careful, else we're gonna get fucked up. And that's what started Eren going that path.
In the finale, that was also huge in the reveal when Armin tells Eren, like, so this is the vision that you saw during the medal ceremony.
Yeah, Marley was using Titans to take over the world. They was like, bro, we gonna use this to crush other armies. We dropped Titans with bombs and got Zeke throwing rocks out of planes and shit. We gonna use these Titans. So the whole world was still scared of Titans. Regardless of who got them, the fact that they exist, the whole world is like, I'm terrified of y'all.
And keep in mind too, one of the reasons why the world was because of Marlin, because the Marlins, they're essentially taking over. They took over everything. Because when we first run into in the final season, they're in a war with some Middle Eastern country, and they're taking it over. And then they make allies with the Japanese, and then there's allies with some other group and shit like that.
It's World War II.
It's
World War II. And as somebody who loves the World Wars, like history like that, I was even more sold. And that's one of the things I always tell people about the series is if you like history, like there's so many.
No, let me not tell it.
Go ahead. Get us demonetized because we make no money anyway here. Anyway,
since you want to bring that up.
Nah, but I tell people all the time, like if you're history, like this is such a good series that touches on so many like historically relevant facts and ties them into fiction. Not to mention that it goes like, and I tell people all the time, like if you want to see one of the greatest examples in anime of moral conflict with the universe and with humanity, this touches that on so many levels. I enjoy the shit out of all of these plots because of all the greater facets of the story tells to the world and how it's applicable in today and in the past. Like it's a retelling in many aspects, just with fiction of what's occurred, and it's
what I like about Gundam.
That keeps on going now.
The same thing I like about It's like if you were to mix Gundam and Evangelion together, somehow, some way, you get Attack on Titan. People are like, wait a minute, what you do? I was like, bro, if you take that, all of these is Avas. Like all the Titans are mobile suits, bro. They literally are fucking Avas. Somebody's in them. They operating them. it is what it is. And but there's a deep like history. It's like it goes deep into like politics. It goes into human nature. It goes into fear. It goes into psychological. It's like it goes into because Gundam is always about oppression. It's about one group with one group that oppresses the other one. The group that's oppressed was like, we're gonna use these resources to create this, and we're gonna get back. We're gonna drop a satellite on the Earth. We're gonna drop a meteor on the Earth. We're gonna drop the moon on the Earth. We're always gonna get you back in the worst way. And somebody's like, no, we need peace. And then it's always that person from the space colony who says, I got to stop my own people from doing too much, even though these people been oppressors.
But even then, there's what death, violence,
there's always,
all of that throughout the series. It comes with a price. And like everything comes with a price.
And I like how they're able to borrow from some of the most popular themes of this type of political anime without it feeling like I've seen this before. Like I've seen
for sure,
Gundam series, but this felt fresh. Attack on Titan just felt fresh. Now, is it my favorite political anime? No, it don't top Code Geass off of the simple fact that in those 50 episodes, it was something. I think the way Code Geass I watched in a year and a half. Right, watching it on Toonami. It took me 10 years.
I watched Code Geass in like a week.
I mean, I watched like a week when it came out. Attack on. I remember. I remember when Toonami. Shout out Toonami when they showed Attack on Titan. I remember my friends sent me up like, "Bro, you watching this Attack on Titan shit?" I'm like, "Bro, I'm watching this shit in Japanese, but I'm way ahead of you watching it in English." I've never watched it in English, so when I do rewatch it, I plan to watch it like Angel was saying because
that is pretty shocking. You know, it's crazy. Before we did that episode, during that whole thing, the debacle night that happened, my friend's like, I'm curious, put it in dub. I've never listened to the first part in dub. And I was like, oh my God. And at first, there were a couple pieces that were like, this is fucking trash. But the more, like, we watched the whole episode in dub, and I was like, you know, it wasn't that damn bad.
It was good. Stop it. Don't even add it.
I wouldn't say good. I'm not going to say good, but like, this is not bad.
All the voices fit. Like, everybody. Yeah. Seen a few episodes in English. Like I watch reruns in English. You know what I'm saying? If new episode come, if they similarly dubbed it, I watch it in English. But I'm not gonna wait no 2 weeks to let the internet spoil it. Like just to watch it in English. Fuck out.
And it was crazy as I after this. What was it? When I started watching, it was the end of part 4 or season 4, part 2. I think is when I started it. Because my goal was to try and watch it so I can get to finale part 1, and I've missed it by I think like 3 months. But regardless, because I wasn't like ingrained in it and I didn't pay attention to shit in the groups, I avoided all the spoilers. So like that's why you saw me like up late at night, multiple nights during my binge, and I was like, "Yo, this happens! Yo, this happens!" And Angel and Sean are like, "Yo, keep on going." Marte trying to spoil it. You know,
of course, as usual.
It's hard to comment on it when someone's doing that because you just like the answer. It's like, damn, how do I respond?
But that's how I watch when I binge shows. I put pieces together. I'm like, oh, so I bet you this is gonna happen, and y'all don't say nothing. And sometimes I was right. A lot of times I was wrong.
Yeah, I ain't gonna say nothing. I was just like,
I never,
because you don't want to ruin the surprise. Like, you know, I'd have felt bad as hell if I would have told you all those, because the twist would make it good. Like Angel was, it was like the internet broke when Aaron had that FTK moment. Fuck them kids. He literally told Daddy, man, fuck them kids.
Yeah,
he slaughtered them just to get that power.
All women, children, old women, old men.
Through with it. They convinced him not to do it. And his dad, he stepped to him like, man, you better. All the memes came out.
I finally understood. I was so happy when I finally understood the whispering meme.
Yeah, the whispering meme, dude. And another thing I want to say about Attack on Titan that also I loved, right? So go back and when you rewatch the series, watch the OVAs too, because even though they're side stories, they actually really explain a lot of the stuff. So there's
I told you that. I told you because you said no, right? I think you said no.
No, because I haven't watched the OVAs. Yeah,
I told you because I did watch the OVA and I watched them in sequential order.
Oh, you know, good.
I did, and it was so much. Especially the best one. The two best ones are the ones with Annie the day before she goes rogue, and then the one where you explain Levi and Erwin's connection and Hanji's connection.
Exactly in the beginning.
Those are the two best ones by far. They give you so much more reason to invest. If an OVA manages to give you story and give you content to make you invest in the characters more, that is a successful OVA in my opinion. And it most certainly
OVAs were like that. That's why I don't ever really check OVAs, because I feel it's just like
lately a lot of them they'll just be like supplemental stories that just give you like, oh, I missed my show. Here's something to appease you, but it has no real value to the show.
That's why I be dodging them, because a lot of times I go to watch the OVA and it's like, oh, this a recap.
That's
Finna watch the damn recap.
It's just a random thing that they just throw out. Like I said, it's just meant to appease you, like the slime OVAs and all that. Like they're meant to.
The slime was awful. Don't even start on the slime OVA.
Bro, you'll get 12 episodes. You'll get 13 episodes of an anime, and for whatever damn reason, whenever episode 7 or 6 come around, you get a motherfucking recap. I'm like,
I hate that. I hate that too. I hate that too. No one needs it. No one needs it.
This recap, bro. This ain't no. Like
it's no, this is not One Piece. One Piece, you need the recaps left and right. You know this.
1,000 episodes, but 12.
Yeah,
no.
And I'll say
you don't need it.
And I'll say one of the other OVAs that I love, that actually I did watch this one. There's one. It's like a side story where they find a diary of one of the
the 36th expedition is the one.
36th expedition. Yeah, and you come to find out that they find an intelligent Titan, and she's kind of interacting with it, and unfortunately,
that is the first mention of Ymir. That is the very first mention in the series and in the entire idea of Ymir, and they go, "What is Ymir? Who is Ymir?"
Yeah, and it's really tragic because then, so when they find a Titan there just chilling there, and they find a diary and they find a body. You come to find out once the Titan goes and kills her, eats her head, but he realizes what he does, puts the body in the tree and puts the diary there, and does that. That's made him realize, oh wait, these Titans can be smart. Thus started Homegirl's fucking
Hanji's doing Hanji's
investigations into the Titans, wanting to catch them.
Experimenting. Yeah. And also, probably the first one. What do they call them? Unusuals or
I forget the term. Yeah, at this point, it seems like so far away, which it really was. And another thing about Attack on Titan that to me, like when I rank and stack, I think too many times people throw like S tier or like they'll say like is a foundational anime, whatever, and all that. I think this is gonna be foundational anime. I think this is gonna inspire a whole lot of people, and it's only because of the content, right? But let's talk about the fucking songs. It is some of the best songs.
Oh, the musical composition is amazing.
Yeah, the composition of the show, it goes along. It's amazing. The intros is great. The outros is great, dude. When that rumbling song came out, it pissed me off.
Yeah. Like, let's go, yo.
Everyone's like
the rumbling. Everyone's like the rumbling. I was like, never heard it. They're like, you gotta listen to it. I'm like, no, I'm gonna save it for when I watch the show. And I heard it, and I was like, yo, this shit is fucking hype, bro.
And we never get the rumbling.
Read the lyrics to that song, and it would completely describe Aaron's all his thoughts.
Yeah.
Like lyrics of the song. Like soon as first time I read the song, I was just like, oh, okay, this is foreshadowing some shit. I know it's the rumbling, so I was just like, Aaron's whole reasoning is the lyrics of the whole fucking song. I never wanted to be the king, the bad guy. Like, he crying, you see him yelling. I said, oh yeah, he finna do some fucking shit.
During the rage party, like, oh, and he's just sobbing, but you hear the guttural rage of the fucking song. It's fucking tremendous. But to Angel's point, you're right. Every single note and every single when you hear the composition, it matches the scene, whether it's happy, whether it's serious, whether it's stunning, shocking, sickening, it all matches that piece. The OPEDs always match, always give you hype to go into the season. It absolutely incredible. See, Angel's point, I don't feel it. I can't call it foundational because this isn't an anime you tell somebody that's never seen anime to start with, in my opinion. This is too much. I feel like it's too much to start with. You want to start off you're not going to start your son on it. You said you're going to give him a traditional shonen, right? You're not going to tell him watch Attack on Titan.
But I think those are two different things, though, right? So, for example, Evangelion is a foundational anime. No matter what anyone says, that anime has influenced.
So there's a difference. I find foundational anime to me is something that what's it called? In your anime history, you must view it, and that's correct. But at a certain stage of within anime is when you view it. To me, foundational anime is what is basically stuff that builds you. And so there's a difference between foundational and influential. Attack on Titan, without a shadow of a doubt, goes along with all those top S tier classics in terms of influence. This is certainly an influential anime, but I don't find there's a difference between foundational.
No, but that's what I'm saying though. This is one of those financial. To me, I think it's a foundational anime because this is going to inspire so many people. How Dragon Ball inspired Dragon Ball. Whatever my feelings are toward Dragon Ball Z, the overall Dragon Ball, it is like the anime for many ways, like just like Astro Boy was for many people, to then Dragon Ball, to then without no Dragon Ball there would be no One Piece, right? Like stuff like that.
There'd be no Naruto probably.
Yeah, and we're too close to it, right? It just ended, but I could 10 years from now, 20 years from now, you're gonna see people start coming out with anime that's kind of inspired and referencing.
But you know something that I fear is the fact that the anime community is starting to get to a stage where they're not going to be as appreciative of anime like Attack on Titan the further that we go along as we continue, because a lot of it is like gratification. You want like instant gratification. Attack on Titan is not one of those shows that gives you instant gratification. It takes time and patience and like a real commitment.
So I think season 1 forces you that. I think once you get past season 1, the story is it is a constant with the mystery, and it is a constant buildup. Season 1, I for sure, you gotta have patience.
You're not gonna be able to take 10 years to tell 80 episodes of anything.
You cannot, not no more. No,
that's not gonna happen. Like,
not no more.
It's not gonna happen.
You're never gonna get. You telling me how many episodes in 10 years? Like, no, that's not happening. No. What you're gonna get is more things like Demon Slayer, where we're gonna like give you 12 episodes, then a year later we're gonna give you 12 more episodes. Like,
no, no. Demon Slayer is a bad example, because Demon Slayer, they fucking try to con you, right? Because they won't come out with another 12 episodes. They'll come out with a movie, and then the first episode, and then they do the fucking series, and it's like, oh, it's half the season.
Angel, that's to your point. That's what. The thing that Attack on Titan did to influence the anime industry is actually, oh shit, we can milk this shit now. Yes,
that is very true. That is.
We can do what? Said, bro, once you got them on the hook, you can just give them a couple episodes or a little movie, make them wait. But you can't make them wait for nothing. Tell them at the end that when the next one coming, and then they're gonna be mad.
You know, one of the best examples of like giving you like gratification, yet kind of doing a little bit of milking, but it still keeps that premise, is Kaguya-sama. You have 4 seasons, you get a pivotal movie, and that leads us now into what I believe is the final season coming up in 24, right?
I've never been a fan of having to put a movie that I must see in between the series. I actually hate that, because I was fortunate enough that my movie theater, but for most anime that come out, I gotta drive 2 hours, and I'm not doing that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like,
it's easier for me in Orlando. I get it. Yeah.
Give me 3 days to watch it, and I gotta drive 2 hours. I'm not doing that. So I feel like the negative thing that Attack on Titan's influence is gonna be negative, because now more series are gonna
now you talk about it.
Slayer, where they're gonna milk it, they're gonna sandwich, they're gonna give you a special. You know what? I think more series are gonna start doing specials again versus series. We're gonna give it to you when it's done. We ain't gonna wait for the whole package for you to get 12 of them. If we can give you 3 of these things right now and stop the internet for a day, we're gonna give you these 3-4 episodes.
Anime was it that was fairly recently that did that? There was one anime that did that fairly recently, like a special.
What? That did a special or like a movie?
They did a special. No, not a movie. It was specifically called a special.
I can't remember, but they still do specials. But
there was one of them that did that.
Attack on Titan is like, I can't say it's a starter anime, because
it's not. No, it's not a starter anime. No.
To me, I don't give a fuck. It is, because if seeing Aaron mom, if it's not like, if you're gonna get weirded out, I need you to not understand that most anime might be this weird. It ain't got to be, but
most anime is titties.
But I think no fan service in this whole shit. That's my favorite thing about Attack on Titan. There was no fan service.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, it could have easily been that.
I mean, you get peak on all 4. That's pretty hot.
There was, that's because that's how your mind works. But there was really no
exactly. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I think like with Attack on Titan, I show it to somebody, because if the action and the violence don't hook you, which I know it for most boys is gonna hook you, but once these politics hit your ass, once these twists come and your mind get blown, you're gonna want more anime. The problem with Attack on Titan is I feel like it's gonna set the bar too high.
It does.
Set the bar too high. I had a friend who, he was like, put me on some anime, put me on some anime, put me on some anime. First anime he ever watched all the way through was Afro Samurai. That made him want to watch Samurai Champloo.
Yep.
He dropped Cowboy Bebop, and we can't convince him to watch it because he's like, bro, this shit lame as fuck. This shit boring as hell, and I don't give a fuck about jazz. Give me Samurai Champloo over Cowboy Bebop any day. I personally believe Samurai Champloo is better than Cowboy Bebop, but I can't convince the anime community of that. They're gonna be like, nah, bro, have you heard Tank? I was like, yeah, bro, I ain't gonna lie to you, but Cowboy Bebop is a better production, but but Samurai Champloo is more entertaining. So I feel like Attack on Titan it's up there with Full Metal Alchemist. The only knock I have against Attack on Titan is it took 10 years to give me 80 plus episodes.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Yeah,
It should not be that.
Yeah. So like to Angel's point as well, the other thing I was gonna say is the fact that with what's it called? Damn, I think I just lost my point. Fuck, I hate when that happens.
Hey, you know what? That was a great.
Oh, no, I remember my point. So one thing about Angel, for you guys who don't know, Angel is an enthusiast of all sorts of movies and TV shows, versus me, who I only really watch sports. And I watch sports. I watch Marvel, Star Wars, Harry Potter. Those are the three things I watch. And then I watch anime. Those are basically the consistencies of my life. But there are many people who don't watch anime that love things like Lost, things like Game of Thrones, and you have to know your audience. So like when we talk about foundational, going back to foundational anime, when you think of anime, a lot of adults think of it as children. A lot of that is accurate, but you need to know your audience. So if you know somebody that loves those type of series like the Game of Thrones, the Lost, those type of things, you'll recommend Attack on Titan because it fits that sort of narrative. Versus like if you're talking to a teenager or a boy, you're gonna go with the shonens, things of that nature. You're talking to a girl, you're gonna put a rom-com. So you can say, going backtracking on my point a tiny bit, you can call it a foundational starter anime for those type of adults that appreciate that sense of lore and like deep mystery mixed with the high level action and don't mind gore, because there's a lot of gore.
I give a boy Attack on Titan, I give a girl Full Metal Alchemist. Not even Brotherhood, but Full Metal Alchemist. Like
first one's good one.
That I would give that. Those would be two starters I'd give, because it's like I can't wait to re-binge it like from front to back so I can see this whole thing, how to play out. How if I was to introduce it to someone now, they binge it. They ain't gotta wait week to week. Week to week is like that suspense pays off, but it was a lot painful. Like you had to wait.
Yeah,
like,
for those dedicated that the 10 years of their life to it. Yeah, for sure.
Your life.
For sure.
Like, if you weren't in a mood when Attack on Titan drop, I feel bad for you. If you weren't in the mood, you had too much life going on. If you couldn't really invest in it. But if you can sit down and like watch
mean, bro, like I'm getting tattoos now, and like, bro, I got tattoos.
And that's the funny thing about Ethan. So Sean, so for years, ever since we talked anime, I try to convince Ethan to watch Attack on Titan. Always fought me, always whatever.
Naked Giant
loves it, and what does he do?
I got a whole, I'm not trying to point in my crotch, but I got a whole Sasha tat that says potato on that bitch now. I got a whole Sasha tat, but no, like I tell people, like now when I get anime tats, like they mean something. Like my favorite series of all time, Naruto, because it was my very first one. I got it on my back. I got the Akatsuki cloud with the curse mark. I got Code Geass because to this day it's still by far the best ending for me that I've ever seen in an anime. I've got fucking Clanad because that's the most emotional anime that I've ever seen, and now I've got Attack on Titan on my leg because it is, as a whole, with all the pieces in my world, probably is my number one anime that I've ever seen. And 407 titles. I've seen 407 titles as of this recording. It is by far my favorite. Which leads me now to my final questions to you guys. Do you have any other further thoughts before I get to my final questions?
I was going to ask you, what is this ranking your endings? Like, last episodes, a lot of anime dropped the ball from the last episodes.
This is number two. This is number two. As a whole encompassing thing, I think it's like one of I would say right now, because I'd have to really think about it. This is very ill time for me to think about. So out of the 407 titles, but it's up there top 2, top 3 for sure. With Code Geass always being my number 1.
Yeah. For me, my number 1 is Devilman Crybaby, and Code Geass would be like a 3, because I think if I was to go down the list, it would be Attack on Titan. It would be, so we're not talking about manga, because manga then I would include Hell's Paradise. I think Hell's Paradise fucking is clutch the way it ends, but anime-wise, yeah, I would say Devilman Crybaby. I would say this, and then Code Geass.
Okay, so you have it at 2 as well. Starman, ending only, because that's gonna lead to another question I have.
Ending, I think my top 3 endings, I can't even put them in order, but it's Full Metal Alchemist,
That's good.
and Brotherhood. It's a tie. I like both endings. Honestly, I take that back. I like the original Full Metal Alchemist ending better than I like the Brotherhood ending.
It was darker.
Yeah, it was way darker. Like just the whole family dynamic, that was way darker. Him having a shootout, having a fight with, you know what I'm saying, essentially his dad got a
Don't spoil it. That's why I'll watch it one day. Don't spoil it.
Oh shit, yeah, right.
My bad. Yeah. Code Geass. Attack on Titan ending was better than Code Geass's.
Really?
It was to me because there's a movie. I didn't like the ending. I didn't like Code Geass's ending. I didn't hate it. I loved it, but I got a movie a few years later.
You negated it. See,
but you have to keep the movie in context because I didn't see the first 2 movies because they tell different timelines. The third movie goes based off of that timeline, so you have to keep it in context.
I'm saying it was a satisfying ending, but
the series is a satisfying ending. If you're looking at the context of the other timeline, this is also a really good ending. If you want to, like I do, and fucking play like fucking crazy mixer and mix the two, I still enjoyed it. But if you're talking about the original series is the best.
I like ending. Attack on Titan's ending more than Code Geass's. I do. It's way more closure. They seal it. They don't have to give me a movie.
Yeah, if you have to give a movie.
Okay.
Yeah,
they gave me a movie and did some extra shit, bro. They had to like we had to guess on the internet for years whether or not Lelouch was alive. And then we find out there was a scene that didn't even air in America about a motherfucker on a cart. And we like, wait a minute. Is that
no, yeah, I know.
I didn't have to do this with Attack on Titan. Didn't make it so bad. I have to question if that little boy or girl that went under that damn tree. Does the history repeat itself? I don't fucking know. I don't like that interpretation, but they lift it up to me. And in my mind, he went into that hole of that tree. And you know what the fuck he found? The Founding Titan again. But history gonna repeat.
Exactly.
I didn't think about it that way, but that's fair.
Yeah, that's the way I took it. Yeah.
Okay,
to me they gave me closure. And
what about Ethan?
No, it was literally as the credits are rolling, I'm seeing these fucking
that sealed it for me.
It was great. Yeah, that was fucking fantastic.
Like, oh, okay.
That was fantastic. My cousin's like, is it over? Like, I'm like, the credits. There's still stuff going on in the credits. I started fast forwarding and I saw the stuff. I'm like, nope, rewind.
Oh, good lord.
I rewound it.
Nothing. I sit here watching like, oh, this end credit scene. Oh, this is sick.
Yeah. And then I watched it again with detail after talking to you guys a little bit about it. I'm like, oh, this makes even more sense. This is even more awesome.
That's why I gotta say, Attack on Titan gave me my favorite anime ending. Period. It's my favorite anime ending.
Okay.
Usually, I love the ending. I love how this shit ended.
It's also,
I knew what was gonna happen. I knew Eren wasn't gonna survive. I knew he was,
of course,
he had to. But even knowing that, it was still like
you know what's ironic? I just thought about. I have one tattoo that I didn't show, and it's the Hunter x Hunter logo. And it's funny. I have one of the best endings of all time on my wrist with Code Geass, and I have one of the worst endings.
Well, it's not ended.
It's not ended. Yeah,
it has one of the worst arcs. Ending to an arcs ever. I don't give a fuck. Talk about philosophical.
I literally just got this.
It's supposed to be ironic.
It's
supposed to be turn shonen endings into an ending with the fucking ant. Don't even get me started. I will fight anyone to fucking day that tries to tell me Chimera the Chimera Ant arc, and it's amazing because the dude fucking playing chess with some fucking blind chick, and then he fucking kills himself because he's upset because he fell in love with a stupid fucking blind chick. It's such a stupid ending. Fuck y'all. Anyways, that's
a premier example of Angel's rage. I wish Angel watched more anime so he could give us more rage at the end of the season. Starman, imagine having Angel on at like the season ends with his rage on like some of the shit that we watch.
What was your last question?
So I have 3 questions. I got 3 questions to wrap up the series. Do we have any other thoughts before we wrap this up? Because we're almost at 2 hours.
Yeah.
Okay, first question. 1 to 5 star rating on your finale. I'm gonna start first. I'm gonna say 4.5. Finale. I know you guys both are gonna rewatch it, but in this current at the time of recording.
So what are we counting the finale? We're counting this as the finale, right? Not part 1, part 2.
I'm gonna ask a follow-up question.
Okay.
So for this set part 2, the absolute finale of the show, this 1 hour and a half block,
Yeah.
What do you give it 1 to 5?
It's a solid 5 for me.
It's a solid 5, Angel.
5.
One of the greatest endings of all time. One of the greatest.
I'm at a 4.75.
You stuck the landing.
I'm at a 4.75. I should probably bump it. I gave
And
it
I was worried. It's the thing.
list,
I was worried
man.
it was going to stick the landing because of all the nonsense you would hear from the manga people. They're like, oh yeah, no, the ending sucks.
I kept anticipating. I'm like, what is this bad ending? What is this bad ending? And it was
yeah.
I was saying like, where is it?
I'm telling you, it relates to that stupid conversation he had with Armin.
Yeah, a lot of people just really wanted Eren to like win, and that's why they were upset. Like,
and I'm glad he didn't.
Supposed to win.
Yeah, of course, he should have. I mean, he kind of did win because he got his goal of his friends and all that, but but he really didn't win because he revealed his true thoughts. It's like, no, I want to live. I want to be with my friends. I want to be with Mikasa.
Yeah, that was So I just can't give it a 5. I'm at 4.75. Still, if you're gonna go off the Dave Meltzer ranking, 4.5. I bumped it up to a 5 because I round up. I round up on those things. So I gave it a 5. Overall series, 5 plus. 5.5 for me. Overall series.
5. So you want to have 5 overall series?
Overall series. There we go. Put the claps in there.
Until I re-binge it, bro. I've watched this shit for over a decade in chunks. I got to you watched it binge from front to back. I got to go back because I want to say the whole series.
I waited. What was it like? 9 months.
10, 5 out of 5 certified classic. I want to put it up there, but the difference is Full Metal Alchemist. I've seen that and Brotherhood multiple times. Code Geass, bro. Honestly, it was a point in time where I would watch that series once a year since 2010, from 2010 to 2018.
But it's a short watch too. It's only 48 episodes.
I watched that series every year for 10 years straight. I watched it every year. I would put it on and watch it for 2 weeks just to watch it. Attack on Titan. I've never repeated an episode, not once, like on purpose. I got to do that before I give my final rating. But I'm gonna be honest with you, it's not gonna land lower than a 4.5, if not a straight out 10. Yeah. I think the ending, I'm pretty sure I want to give it a 5 out of 5, the whole series. But like I said, they did 2 things. They switched studios in the middle of production, and
see, but there's a difference though, because you do pay attention and that's one of the best things about having you on is you pay attention. You give us insight in the studio productions and studio quality and things of that nature, which I certainly don't focus on hardly whatsoever. Only when they fuck up really bad, like Cloverworks, that manages to fuck up once a year at least, minimum. But
feel like high quality, one of the best studios. Like
it's still in terms of like the production, it's still high quality, but they always manage to fuck up the story for at least one anime a year, it seems. But in any case, back to my point, like you notice that like that's a very fine detail, but that's a deep cut detail, but that's a good deep cut detail that you come up with. So I get that perspective.
Yeah. Angel? For me, I have to give it even though how much I do love it, right? I think that season 1, I think is just too long, and I think it's a disservice to the series. If you would have cut that first season in half and kind of throw little sprinkles here and there of what the actual story is, this would be a 5 for me. But it's just the season 1. Well, I do enjoy it now after the fact and all that.
You know what? From my perspective, I'll give you my 2 cents, Angel. I think you have to put the weight of the historically amazing rest of the series in relation to the meh season 1.
See, but the thing is, the meh season 1 is 24 episodes. We're talking about a 90 episode series, and 24 episodes of it is, I feel, kind of meandering.
It's not even 24 episodes. You would say like maybe 12, because like I said, it picked up for me halfway.
No, I mean, no, because it's still just like action, just like it doesn't reveal the rich story behind it until the final parts of the season.
Sure, Starman,
you point out something in that moment, Angel, real quickly that I just thought about. The trend of anime at the time when Attack on Titan came out, the standard during that time, 24 to 26 episodes.
Yeah, it was.
And
by the time it ended, the standard was 12. Yeah. They literally came in at the end of the era of every.
That is true, because you had ReZero come out in 2015. That was 24 episodes. You had what's it called? SAO. That was 24 episodes.
No, you know what? It wasn't even
12. They went back short. And then they realized, no, y'all ain't got to do the 12 episode thing.
But you know what though? That's
season.
I would say, but that's not even anime specific. That was just worldwide. How outside of the UK, which a lot of the series is paid for by the government, so that's why a lot of their series, well, or seasons they call series. It's really short because the
But then
government pays
also
for it.
to
Yeah,
counteract that point,
but hold on. But at that time, no, it was not until recently. Really, HBO was really a big proponent of this. Shows were 24 episodes every season. You can go down a list of all these series from 90s, 2000s, whether it's Nip Tuck, whether it's Monk, whether it's fucking Modern
Dexter.
Family. It doesn't matter what genre it was. 24 episodes was the standard. So that's why in anime it was also the standard. Now it's more about quality, less about quantity now.
Yeah.
And now you're seeing a lot more. That's what I think anime is doing too.
To Angel's point, also, and to Starman's point, also in that time, don't forget 2013, you still had like what I think you had 3 out of the big 4. You had One Piece still running continuously, Naruto running continuously, and Bleach was still running continuously at that time. And those were continual, like year-long shows that were going on as well, which is putting out the quantity over the quality in some instances, and B, just that continual progression. So they did cut it even further from that piece as well.
Now was like the budget's gotten smaller. It's like, bro, we can only afford it. Y'all got to finish this shit in 12 episodes because y'all can't stretch it out in 24. Like, it ain't enough money to do it. It ain't enough. It's too much work. They was like, man, we got to squeeze and compact these series. When Attack on Titan first came out, it's like, we're gonna give you the bang for your buck. You're gonna get the full 24. Now, you know, it's very rare that you get that one. We more or less complain sometimes when you wanna. I don't, but I love when the series go on. As long as they don't do that bullshit Eminent Shadow did. Oh yeah, I'm gonna give you 18 episodes, 20 episodes. I was like, bro,
off ass number, 20 episodes.
Just give me.
And then at the end, it kind of drug, and it was like, oh, come on.
What series is this?
Eminence and Shadow. No, it's fun. It's just like
it's a very fun series. It will be one that we
enjoyed it.
But side note, apparently they were still freestyle. It was still in production while it was airing. It wasn't one of those shows where it was. I find that's Attack on Titan. Interesting tidbit about the they used to fly and drop the DVD or discs off with the episodes off to each studio that would air it in order to keep it from getting bootlegged or leaking on the internet when it first came out.
Oh wow!
They would hand deliver it to each studio because they had to back then because they couldn't trust it. They were like, man, if we can't trust to mail this out or send it via code because somebody gonna drop it on the BitTorrent and the whole internet gonna get it, and we trying to like get this money.
Yeah, especially back then. Yeah, back then, man, they were shit. You can. I mean, now it's not. Now things got much cheaper and much easier to watch anime. But back then, yeah, you could.
Like you couldn't really stream Attack on Titan. Like you could Funimation, but that was it. It was like wasn't even on Crunchyroll back then. I think it was Funimation exclusive. Damn near.
I think it was on Hulu, to be honest, or Netflix. It was one. I think that's
I'm gonna say a Hulu because Netflix.
When I first saw it, it was a Funimation exclusive. Like Attack on Titan was a fun. When I first saw
it, exclusive. I have bad memory, so. Wait, so my bad because we kind of just went around. But so why would you rate it?
Question.
I said I rated 5+.
5+. Okay, I was rating 5+. Yeah.
So I've asked you. All right. So I've asked you both what you gave the finale, what you gave the series as a whole at this current recording time. So current recording time. Final question: where does it rank all time in terms of your anime overall in your anime experience, your anime lives? Where does it rank?
It's definitely in my top 10. Whether or not it's in my top 5, I'm really gonna have to go back and rethink my top because my top 5 is fluid. It's not. It's like something jumps in and out my top 5 or 10. You can now if you ask me top 5 action political anime, I'm like, yeah, bro, this shit top 3. I just gave you top 3. But is it in my top 3? Possibly. But like I said, I got to go back and rewatch it. But my list is so damn fluid. Like every year, at least one anime will jump into my all-time top 10 because I love it so much. Because I
don't ever get that in depth.
My list is like this. It's like you can go on my MAL and go look at everything I gave a 10 and just count them. All right. So Sean's top 10 is gonna be whatever the fuck is got a 10 out of 10 on my MAL. If it got a 10 out of 10 on my MAL, whatever, find 10 of those and they probably in my top 10. Like that's how I do my top 10. If it's a 9, it's not in my top 10. My top 10 is all 10s. Like all 10s. And everything don't get a 10 no matter how much I love it. It might do based on its genre, or the season or some bullshit subcategory I throw it in. But my top 10 is fluid. I can't even name my top 10 off top because it just
top 10 is kind of hard.
It's in my top. For me, it's in my top 3. Easy top 3.
See, so for me, it wouldn't crack my top 5 because top 5 it has to be an anime that has shaped me in one way or the other. While I fucking love the shit Attack. I mean, like I said, I kept up with it. I loved it. I freaking raved about it. It had some of the best moments ever in all anime. So for me, it'd be like One Piece. Obviously, if you look around my room, you fucking see I'm a fucking massive One Piece fan. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. That whole series is just on a whole level of insanity and enjoyment that Attack on Titan just does not hit. And shit, I have JoJo shit around here too because that's how much I love it, you know. And third, shit, what the fuck would be my third? Oh, Cowboy Bebop. Shit, all right. Cowboy Bebop was what actually made me fall in love with anime.
It's funny. I was looking at my 5s, and you know, I'm kind of in the mix with Starman in terms of like how I break them down in terms of like overall, and then like the pieces, like what I say, like emotional anime, Clanad. My favorite one because it's my first one, Naruto. The overall best, like I can't think of anything really bad about it, is Attack on Titan for me. Favorite rom-com probably be Kaguya-sama. Favorite fucking comedy for me is what's it called? Konosuba. Favorite comedy, Konosuba. Favorite like drama, sadness anime, like just dark. My favorite dark anime, I should say. What's it called? Made in Abyss. Like, you know what I mean? Like you categorize it like that, but for me, like without a doubt, it's in my top 10. Probably without a doubt, it's in my top 5. So that's for sure. Like that's it on that. So final question before we wrap up, guys.
And looking at my list right now, it's absolutely in my 10. It's
10 easily. Yeah, no, it definitely
without a doubt. I just gave you 6. I just gave you 6 of my goats for me, and the different like pieces of like goat. You know, like comedy, rom-com, action.
No particular order. Yeah, I got mine right here. No particular order.
Yeah. I gave 6. I mean, I gave you 6. I mean, if you want to go down the list, I mean, I don't know.
Full Metal Alchemist, Toradora, Evangelion 2.22, Code Geass, Gurren Lagann, Dead Leaves, Paradise Kiss, Cowboy Bebop, Attack on Titan.
Yeah, and we're talking about series, not like movies as well. I mean, I'm putting
those are just series.
Code Geass. How did I not mention Code Geass? His favorite best. Code Geass 7, Demon Slayer. I have it up there for me. Demon Slayer 8. And again, this is no particular order. I'm just reading off like my 5s. Anything I've given a 5, I'm kind of reading out like what stands out for me like that. That's about it, really in terms of what I could do. Maybe ReZero in terms of another drama, like high-end drama, and then Sora Online. There's my 10 in no particular order right there.
No, Attack on Titan is definitely top 5. It's top.
Yeah, now if you want to try and arrange it, that that might be a question for another Keki shop.
It sounds better. Like I gotta take one from Jadakiss. Top 5 DOA. Yeah.
Ethan, how do you do the laugh?
DOA.
How do you do the laugh?
Yeah. Oh Lord, it's the worst thing.
It's not. I'm sure there's a lot of motherfuckers that have worse.
You're from New York. No, you're from New York. Come on, you're like. I don't know what the fuck.
No, bitch, no. All right, final question. Final question before we wrap up. Yeah. Two final questions. First question, it probably ties into it. So actually, you know what? I will just have a single question for the viewers out there that have not watched it. I want each of you to sell Attack on Titan to wrap up. I could start off by saying, like I said earlier, if you want a show that has layers upon layers of intricate detail that gives you payoffs at multiple points throughout multiple episodes of multiple seasons. If you want a great ending, if you want gore and violence, if you want emotion, if you want great animation, if you want great musical composition, there are hardly any other animes that check all those boxes besides Attack on Titan.
Do you like Game of Thrones?
I didn't watch Game of Thrones.
No, this is my.
Oh, this is your sell. Okay, go ahead.
You took my pitch, damn it. Okay, I gotta come up.
Go ahead.
If you like Game of Thrones and you're into anime, This is the closest you're gonna get to an anime version of Game of Thrones without them dropping the ball at the end to complete the series. It is full of just as many fun, gruesome twists. There are a lot of politics involved, but there's a lot of giants eating a lot of people. There are no high school kids falling in love and carrying a story. Like, no, these are adults in the military trying to save what they believe to be is the world, only to have the world literally crashing down around them. You should definitely check it out.
Solid. Angel.
God damn it, you took mine with Game of Thrones. I was gonna throw that. Just mention, and this is for people who watch anime, right?
No, people just if nobody. Oh, let me. All right, that's fine. You could say it. I just said people who've never seen Game of or never seen Attack on Titan. Period.
Oh, they're okay, good. Because
they watch anime, they don't, whatever. Never seen.
I'm not gonna lie, it'd be kind of hard to pitch this to someone who doesn't watch anime, because it's kind of strange. But so for me, it would be: are you tired of just typical shonen shit? Are you tired of where kids are just like hoorah friendship and all this other bullshit, where you see a whole bunch of nonsense fucking what do you call that shit when you show titties and all that shit? Fan service. Are you tired of that fan service shit? Are you tired of generic drawings that all look the fucking same? Are you tired of just adventures that don't amount to fucking anything, where it's just you watch one anime and the other and it looks exactly the same, is very forgettable? This is the complete opposite of that. This has everything you would want in a anime, something that will stick with you forever. There's many scenes in this show that you will never forget, and it will be ingrained in you. And so many memes have come out of this that you'll be part of the zeitgeist of the anime community. This is, if you are an anime fan, it is a disservice to yourself of not watching Attack on Titan, because not watching Attack on Titan is a disservice to you as a fan, and thus you're going to miss out on one of the most action-packed, gory, edge of your seat, just in fucking insanity. Sit back, eat some popcorn. Don't watch the first season. Watch a YouTube video of the first season of recap. Just watch recap season 1. Fuck season 1. Season 2 and on from there is fucking great, and you get to see the evolution of one of the most complex protagonists you will ever see in an anime series.
Get a drink. Don't get too drunk so you don't miss out on all the little eggs. And to put a bow on this, for Angel said, truly remarkable and unforgettable. Attack on Titan deserves all the flowers as we close
out. Can't be duplicated. It's not going to be duplicated again.
Deserves all the flowers as we wrap this episode up.
Yeah.
I'm gonna see if I can do a trick real quick to wrap this up. Going from cup.
Lord,
my boy got me the fucking kendama, so I've been like trying to practice. So I'm going from bottom cup. I'm gonna try and go to small cup. I couldn't get it. Oh well. All right, guys. Let's go ahead and wrap this bitch up. Angel, do you have any plugs you want to give to people to follow you or follow the groups or whatever you're into?
I really try to keep a low social profile, but I would say, listen, I created Eat the Cake a while back just because I wanted a community of fans where they could, just be themselves, not be full of this creepy bullshit you see in other groups of like fan service and all that. It's great conversations. Ethan, Starman, Marte, Matt, Lucero, they all do great jobs of keeping you informed of what is the hottest thing to watch on anime, and they give great recommendations. Matter of fact, there was one recommendation that Starman gave that my cousin Eddie, he was like, yo, what is this shit? He was like, yo, you should fucking check it out. And we talked about it. One of my boys, Jake Brown, he barely watches anime. He has a whole lot of kids, but because of one of you guys' posts, he was like, oh shit, this is dope. Okay, let me check this out. So it's a great community, and as I haven't said this officially in the Eat the Keki, but honestly, like, I'm really proud of everything you guys have done with this. You have taken this whole thing and ran with it, and I appreciate it. Oh, and also, because Ethan talked about he's all football, he doesn't realize also to let him know that he's a fucking loser when it comes to fantasy football, and the fucking champ is here with this fucking beautiful ass fucking belt. And this year, I'm gonna win it again because I'm the motherfucking champ. Starman, you're up.
Hey man, I respect it. I respect it. My boys just be, I just had my rivalry game, so I'm cool after bye week. You know what I'm saying? Because
he's not a fake fan like Marte.
Yeah, I
Oh, that bullshit. Oh yeah, we didn't fucking attack Marte. I forgot about this motherfucking the fakest fucking Cowboy fan.
Oh man, that's the Starman shrugs his shoulders.
Thank you for having me. Like I said, like always, it's an honor and pleasure. You probably will be seeing my face again. I might be co-hosting with Matt later this week, but which gives me a few shows to catch up on tomorrow and Wednesday. But I'm not far behind. I'm not like
you're not me. Where I'm 5 weeks behind Jujutsu Kaisen. That's how far back I'm 5 weeks back on Juju.
I'm not even watching this season of Juju yet. I told you, I'm a
dub. You're waiting for the dub. Same thing with one of the ones I am caught up on is Dr. Stone. You're watching the dub.
I'm not watching Jujutsu Kaisen. I'm not watching all my dub. I'm waiting to binge.
Kenshin is one of the ones I'm caught up on that you watching dub, I think too, right?
Angel, I'm gonna start Hunter. I'm gonna start Hunter soon. I haven't started. I started. I found my homie hooked me up with the dub of Monster, so I'm watching Monster dub.
What? Yo, hook me up.
I got you. I'll put it on the drive and I'll send it to you.
Appreciate it.
I got you.
Yeah,
it's been rough trying to watch that shit stuff. No, I love it. It's a great fucking series, but man, I got a lot going on in my life.
The look on his face that we're discussing this, like,
yeah,
it was to be expected. 2 dub heads. I get it. I'm a dub head in a different manner. I got EDC coming up this week because of that, guys. Oh, Starman, do you want to give me plugs before I wrap us up?
Oh no, man. AKA Starman. Y'all gonna see more of me. I'm easy to find. I gotta go, man. I gotta get up. Plus, I'm doing the well, I talked to Matt about this. I'm binging Steven Universe, and I'm almost done with that series.
Nice.
Which by the end, I'm honestly gonna say this is looking like it's one of Cartoon Network's top 5 best cartoons. Which
it is.
I'm like, whoa, I didn't see that shit coming. But then again, I'm watching this shit in my 30s. This ain't a show I watched when I was 15, and I'm still telling you 15 years later how good it was. It's like, nah, dog, what shows have you watched as an adult? I watched Adventure Time my entire 20s. My entire 30s. I can tell you that shit is stamped. So I'm saying when you watch these things as an adult, Teen Titans, I rewatched that as an adult. That stamped. Samurai Jack, that's the greatest.
Samurai Jack, one of my favorites. I didn't watch too much Cartoon Network, but Samurai Jack was my fucking shit.
That's a good ending. If you want to see a show with a good ending, Samurai Jack. But
hold on, Jack. Yeah, buddy. I love that.
Give me the Jadakiss again.
Oh Lord,
you son of a bitch. All right, let's go ahead and wrap this up. As Starman said, he probably will be guest hosting now and probably in the next week as well. Guys, I've had a crazy life. This week I will not be on because this week is EDC week. My one true beginning of my EDM life is with EDC. So I will be having a blast at EDC. I will probably be high as shit. I will be drunk. I'll be having the time of my life. So anime once again takes a backseat. However, after EDC, I'm pretty chill except for Football Sunday. So I'll be taking my time to try and catch up. I promise you to all the viewers, I will be back before the end of the season. I will certainly be back for the finale. I will most certainly be here for the year-end conclusion where we have Starman and Chris Zephyr on the line. Shout out to everybody here today who's caught up with us and watched 2 hours and 12 minutes as I say this of Attack on Titan coverage. Angel, Starman, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate the fuck out of you guys breaking this down with me and giving us insight that I don't have as well from someone who binged it and wasn't as deep in the culture back then. So much obliged to you, gentlemen. I'll wrap up with the final plugs. You can catch me on Twitter at SHOSTOPPA. That shows up at 24. We'll let the plugs go on. You catch us on our Talk to Keki, both Instagram and on Twitter at TALKTHEKEKI. That is Talk to Keki. On there, you can follow my anime Instagram at anime_senpai_24. I will come up with a shorter name eventually for you guys so I can give something more concise. As Matt always says, all of our socials have link trees so you can catch ourselves as well as the podcast wherever you want to catch your podcast, whether that be Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon, wherever you want to see us, you can go ahead and you can just type us in Google. You will find Talk to Keki or Keki Shop. Shout out to the W2M Network. Thank you so much, Sean, for hosting us and being our editor. Shout out to Chair Shot Media for also hosting our podcast. Much obliged to you, gentlemen. Always use your head, Chair Shot Media. And with that, gentlemen, I hope, Matt, I did you a good service in terms of these plugs. But with that said, gentlemen, much obliged. Until next time, guys, we'll catch you. Sayonara, minasan. Bye bye.
Welcome to Talk to Keki.